All right. I think it works now. Apologies, everybody, for being a couple minutes late. Had a couple little issues with the old OBS, but welcome to Thursday night football. Steelers, Titans. A very intriguing matchup, EJ, because we're going to see Will Levis do his thing again tonight, looking a lot better than you and I both anticipated in his first career start last week, throwing for 4 touchdowns, 3 of which went to DeAndre Hopkins. Bittersweet for me, seeing him do it in love you blue uniforms. Not for the Houston Texans. That kind of sucked. But on the other side, we have the very stoppable force, being the Matt Canada offense. Can they keep up with Will Levis? That is a question that very few Steelers fans want the answer to right now. With Minka out with his hammy, for me, it's yet another week of can TJ Watt carry the Steelers to victory all by his damn self? What do you got?
I don't think that Levis gets the layups he did last week, regardless of Minka being out. Like, Minka being out certainly is a big deal in the area where Levis was most effective last week, deep down the field on the sidelines. That's Minka territory for sure. But the Steelers defense in general is more disciplined than the one he was going against last week, and they're not going to give him the layups as a rookie. They're going to make his life hell, and I don't think it's just TJ Watt. So he's going to have to go through his reads. And if he can go through his reads, he could challenge deep down the field again, but they're not going to give him primary all night. They have a little bit of tape on him now. And I think their whole game plan is probably to, make him move to number 2, whatever number 2 is on the play. And if that doesn't work, they'll try and make him move to number 3, but he's got to prove that he can move off number 1, because a lot of those throws, the big ones last week, were primary. Not all of them. He did move through his reads. It's not that he can't do that, but they're not going to give him those, 30-yard chunk layups on read 1. Like, that's,
yeah. Well, a lot
I
of
don't
it
think
was
that's happening.
Go routes to Hopkins, or there was a stutter go where Hopkins kind of faked like he was running a bender and then took off. Like it, there was the designed rollout with the throwback the other way. Like you said, a lot of it was, hey, if it's there, take it. And even when it wasn't there on a couple of those, Levis was like, I bet I can still throw that. And he did, to his credit. Sure. So it's going to be on the Steelers to again, like you said, make him go from 1 to 2 to 3. Very curious to see what we get from the Steelers offense tonight, mainly because this Titans defensive line is so damn good that even with the already existing issues with the Steelers run game, Titans defensive line is only going to compound that issue. So they haven't done it yet, but I do want to see if Canada, for the first time all year, goes into throw mode, but in a good way. I'm talking like down the field. I'm talking about trying to get chunks. I'm talking about trying to open things up first, throwing to be able to run. Because I think if they're trying to do their normal, establish the run, be that meat grinder of an op, like they're not going to be able to do that. So I'm very, very curious to see if they throw to run tonight. I don't have high hopes for it, but that's kind of the only way I think they're going to be able to move the ball. We'll see if Canada does that.
Yeah, Oscar says for $5. Thanks, Oscar. I think Tomlin gives Levis a welcome to the NFL game. I could see that happening. He's done it a little bit less in recent years, but don't think that he can't because of that. It is completely possible that they come out and really put their thumb on the head of Will Levis. They've certainly done it to a great many rookie quarterbacks in the past. Doesn't really solve the answer that you were talking about of what the Steelers offense can do against a very good Titans defense, or at least a really good Titans defensive line. I'm with you. They got to try and stretch to at least the medium area of the field. They've done it, again, occasionally. Hasn't helped that Freiermuth's been out. That's one of their medium, middle of the field guys in terms of routes, but it's been so much lateral, so much behind the line of scrimmage, so many incredibly short passes that I just don't think they can make hay with that and the running game. They kind of got to take a page out of Levis's book from last week and take some shots to stretch it out. Now, since Deontay Johnson's gotten back, we've seen a few more of those. He hasn't caught them all, but at least they've tried it occasionally. Got to see some more to Pickens. You can't just use Pickens as a possession guy. Like, he is a go-get-it type of dude. And I'm not just saying that because we have a special for him on Underdog tonight. I want to see that in terms of the same way the Steelers fans want to see it. Like, if you can open up Deontay on one side, Pickens on the other, then you start stretching it out. Then that run game that you know you're going to run anyways might have a little bit more space.
You did mention the special. I'm filling out the entry right now. So obviously we're taking the higher on Pickens at half a yard. I'll drop a link to tail this entry once we're done filling it out. I wanted to ask your opinion on Will Levis. There's a couple that I'm looking at for his numbers. So he has 1.5 passing touchdowns, 202.5 passing yards, or 16.5 completions. There's also a 2.5 sacks taken. If you feel like this is going to be a TJ Watt night.
Actually, I don't mind any of those numbers. I think 16 completions is well within what he can do. Again, if the Steelers go off, all those numbers are hard to achieve. If he has an even average game, you said 202 for passing, right?
202.
And he'd have to throw 2 touchdowns to clear, right? Because it's a touchdown and a half.
Yeah.
That's all possible. I think the touchdowns is the one I'd be most shy about. The 202, I feel like, especially if we get to garbage time and they're having to chuck it up, Steelers will let you do that, right? If they're up by 20 and Levis is heaving it up down the field, he could get a quarter of that in like a throw and a half.
I'm going to go Chig, also higher than 25.5 receiving, because he was
that's just a heart pull right there.
He was getting a lot of work. He was getting a lot of work with Levis. And again, he's so good after the catch when he actually gets given catchable targets that I feel like he could break.
Yeah, when they actually throw it to him, that's the crazy part.
There's a Harold Landry half sack, Danico Autry half sack.
That's a toss-up. It's one of the two. Can I get them both as a combo for a quarter?
Let's see. There's also. Let me look at the Steelers' offense once. See if I can double up with Kenny.
Because I would lean towards one of those two guys having a sack tonight. I would be most surprised if neither of those guys had a sack tonight.
I'm gonna go 30.5 attempts for Pickett because I think they're gonna have to. And then. For Najee and Warren. And then there's a Deontay. I'll go Deontay at 59.5 receiving as well. This is a really weird slip that doesn't look like it makes sense, but TNF games generally don't make sense. So to recap, Pickens obviously higher than half a yard. Levis higher than 16.5 completions. Chig higher than 25.5 receiving. Kenny higher than 30.5 attempts. And Deontay higher than 59.5. Receiving. Does that sound good to you, EJ?
I don't mind any of those numbers. I think those are all achievable, and it actually kind of speaks towards if both teams get those numbers, they have chances to win. It doesn't normally happen that both teams get the numbers they need. Obviously, somebody walks home a loser, but we'll see. We'll see.
That not get submitting. There we go. All right.
There we go.
I'm gonna grab the link. I'm gonna throw it in a chat for anybody who wants to tail that.
Yeah, absolutely. Shawshank for $4.99. Thank you, Shawshank. How about those Texas Rangers? Texans next, baby. Give it 5 years. I think it might be less than 5 years for the Texans. Probably be a couple at least. They've got some pieces to put in, but they're making good progress towards the goal. And yeah, congratulations if you're a Rangers fan. Long time coming.
First in franchise history, right?
Yeah. 60-ish years. So, like, go for it, man. Party it up. You deserve it. When your team that you have followed for a long time that has not achieved success finally gets to the mountaintop, like, go get some.
Well, at least somebody in Dallas is finally winning something. Sorry, couldn't resist. Couldn't resist.
Chris, if you're watching, I'll just apologize for him. You're going to make sure I can't drink at one of my favorite watering holes pretty much ever.
Max for $5. I did the Galaxy Brain Levis start as my super flex and still lost by 2 because Herbert had 3 points in the second half. Luckily, no high bridges around. That is brutal to get 4 touchdowns out of your super flex and still lose. Who did they have that outscored you? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's on the other side of those matchups. The bad beat fantasy matchups are rugged, and we've all had them.
Prime Vision. I'm gonna watch from the actual Amazon site on Prime Vision this week, EJ. Just in case you're trying to sync up with me.
Oh, we're. I thought we were trying to avoid syncing on this stream.
Might as well. I mean, God. There we go. All right, we get the store
spelled the other way.
All right, I think we're all caught up on super chats.
Question. I believe so.
I have a question for chat.
Oh, we were.
Oh, we were. Oh, here we go. Jawbreakers for $20. Thank you, Jawbreaker. My terrible luck with fantasy quarterbacks. I drafted A-Rod and Anthony Richardson, picked up Derek Carr the week he got hurt, traded for Kirk. Oh, my God. And picked up Tyrod last week.
Just because, like...
That's a worse curse than me. God.
I was going to say, I bet all your league mates are like, who are you leaning towards? Because I'm not going to pick any of their receivers because they're
terrible.
Going down.
Oh, my God.
That is rough, Ja. Thank you very much for the super chat. We appreciate it. We hope your luck improves. That makes for a no fun season.
Well, apparently as Levis, so I fully expect Levis to just spontaneously combust by the second quarter.
I don't know. They were talking about the reverse curse for Matt Canada with you making the video
if
this
tonight
week, so.
Is the first time in 2.5 years that they get 400 yards, like, the curse is real. Because that's back-to-back episodes. Like, the tush-push fumbles on the goal line, and then Canada gets 400 yards.
I know the curse is real already. I don't need any more further verification. Thank you very much. But I kind of think, you might win by losing, right? If you reverse curse Canada, he gets 400 yards. Almost for sure. Almost. Nothing's 100% for sure. Pickens will go over half a yard.
They will find a way. They will find a way.
Just a mess.
He's just getting a bunch of bubble screens that lose 4 yards. Like, that's...
Okay, here's the combo. If the Steelers go over 400 yards passing and the pick and square does not work out.
Well, so here's the thing. It's 400 total. Like, that's the stat. It's 400 total yards of offense. 55 consecutive games they haven't done it. It's the second longest streak in NFL history that an offense cannot get 400 yards in 55 straight games, which means Jaylen Warren, 300-yard rushing game incoming. Like, that's the path.
I'd actually be here for that. Losses be damned. Like, I would be so here for that. I love that guy. He was my parting glass last week for his pass pro, actually, but love his rushing prowess as well. It brings a lot of juice to this offense. And he's just, everybody knows I love watching running backs. He was one of the guys mid-pack the year he came out that I was like, I don't know, I kind of like him. Like, I think he could be a really good number 2 or number 3 running back, which is exactly what he's turned into in the NFL, and he's a ton of fun.
I have him, so I pulled it up in my, it's out of focus, but I have him going tonight because in one of my leagues, I am so incredibly down bad with injuries. Like, Dave Montgomery went down. Like, Roshan was my backup plan. And so it's like Roshan and Warren in this league. It's rough for me. Is Roshan playing this week, by the way?
Yeah, no, he played last week. He came out of concussion protocol. He played last week. He was not the starter. That was still Foreman because Foreman's been playing pretty well, which I think, we predicted in the offseason. It looked like he was going to be a good match. Roshan was a little bit rusty, which is expected, I think. And there's also questions about usage in that offense that I don't feel like necessarily he's getting the best possible looks. He's getting some okay ones. He was back. He wasn't super productive, but he was back and running hard, and he did make it through the game without, further aggravation of anything else. So he should be, solidly the number 2 in the lineup this week.
Man, I'm looking through one of my teams that I forgot to set my lineup for before TNF. And my original quarterbacks going into the year, it was Fields and Goff with Anthony Richardson as my third, and then I lost AR, and then I lost Fields, and I have Goff, and I have nobody else. I might try to go pick up like AOC. I don't think I have any other option.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to find somebody who's actually going to get meaningful snaps. That's, again, rugged. JJP in the chat for $1.99. Thank you, JJP. Good to see you again. Fun fact, Warren and Willie Parker are cousins. I did not know that.
Really?
Oh. After our first experience at Shrine, when we sat down with Big Cat and we were talking to him for like 10 minutes, and he mentioned Montravius Adams, and you said, "Oh, EJ's a huge Montravius Adams guy." Big Cat's like, "Bro, he's my cousin. You know that, right?" And I was like,
"No, we didn't."
"What?" He's like, "No, I got Monto's number in my phone. I'll call him right now." I was like, "You're gonna call Montravius Adams? Okay." Like, they're cousins. Who knew? Happens a lot in the NFL. I can hardly keep up with fathers and sons and making sure that linkage is correct. Cousins, all bets are off. I lose track pretty quickly.
Chat, I forgot 10 minutes before kickoff. I forgot to show you what I'm drinking tonight.
Yeah, you actually went to great lengths.
One of our wonderful mods, Hockeys, sent me a bottle. Oh, I left it in the kitchen of Fernet Branca for drinking on the stream. Fernet Branca, great in cocktails. So for tonight, I made a Fernet cocktail called the Alligator, which is sort of in the margarita family. It's 2 ounces of Fernet, 3/4 ounce lime juice, 1/2 ounce Cointreau, 1/2 ounce of cinnamon syrup. So I homemade some cinnamon syrup this afternoon. Shook it all up. Called the Alligator. It doesn't sound good on paper, but I promise it's really, really good. It's really, really good.
I imagine that if somebody took the time to actually combine all those ingredients that do not sound good, and that it stayed there and has gone down to the point where, you can continue to make them, that it actually is one of those things that just, you go, trust me, it'll work out.
When I've made it for a friend before, and they put it up to their nose and they're like, "This smells like the liquid that barbers wash their combs in." And
okay, that's not great.
To be fair, he's correct. But then when you drink it, you're like, "Oh, that's actually really pleasant." It's pretty good.
The ultimate Letterkenny moment, right? To be fair, if you drink the blue stuff out of the cone bottle, it doesn't taste like this. Well, I hope not, because that doesn't sound great at all. Hang on. JH for $10. Wanted to get to this one. Eagles fan here. Just discovered your channel. Here. With the season previews this year, most entertaining, informing channel there is. We appreciate that very much. Keep it up. Hopefully your livers can as well. That's more his than mine. But
barber fluid.
Yeah, I don't know. I stress mine every now and again. We'll take that in consideration. But welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate you being here. Glad you love the channel. Guy with no vowels for $2. Like the Raiders, I'll only accept a 2 for this SC. Raiders. We talked Raiders at the start of tomorrow's pod, right? Because we recorded that on Wednesday.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah. So the opening of tomorrow's pod has early thoughts on Raiders. Couldn't let that one go by the wayside, because it's pretty rare that a coach and a GM and an offensive coordinator at that point all get either fired and or demoted. That has not happened in season. I mean, it's not rare that happens, but it usually happens after the season. It's extremely rare for that trifecta in season. So we'll have our thoughts on that opening of the pod tomorrow. Thanks very much for the super chat. Ja with another one. All Texans and Seahawks fans better start feeding me grapes and fanning me, because I was going to pick up Stroud and I have a trade for Geno just staring at me. Okay. you you have become death, the destroyer of quarterbacks. Like, please avoid the starter of my team. That could be a lucrative business at this point because you've got proof. You can be like, dude, I'll pick him. I'll
just
do it.
holding Bengals fans at gunpoint. It's like I'm gonna, we'll
I'm,
take Burrow.
I'm gonna trade my whole team for Burrow unless you give me blank. Yes, that would be a good bit. We should when we start the bootleg comedy channel, we'll have to work that up.
I just had a gift delivered downstairs at halftime
Oh,
that I might go get.
okay.
So I ordered a tiny little whiteboard. And
Oh, itty bitty.
it's like an 11 by 14 whiteboard, so I could draw it plays on stream. So
Yep.
I didn't have like
Yep.
the giant one that I knocked over that one time. So I
Uh,
ordered a tiny little whiteboard, and I thought it was going to get delivered like an hour ago, and it just got here right now. So I'll probably go get it down at halftime, so I can do a little
yeah.
drawing in the second half.
No, everybody loves a whiteboard. You'll have to draw turtles, you know that, but everybody loves a whiteboard.
That's a price I'm willing to pay.
Yeah, we have a calendar on a whiteboard that is attached with Velcro to the hall closet upstairs to just try and keep everybody's schedule straight. And I was down here today, which is underneath that story, and wham! And I'm like, because it was just me and the dogs that were home at that point. And I was like, huh, wonder what that was. And the Velcro had let go on the top one, and it fell off the closet door and just went doink. I was like, oh, that would make that noise. So I got a whiteboard backup if you need one when you come up, and it's not the huge kind, so you'd be all right.
Steelers running out on the field. Have you ever been to a game in Pittsburgh, by the way? I'm not calling it Acrisure. It's Heinz to me, but
yeah, it's Heinz or Three Rivers or whatever. No, no, I've not. It is incredibly expensive.
You're right.
So
it's not cheap.
I have, and it's always full. It's very difficult to get tickets. Doesn't matter, good or bad. That place will sell out. Western Pennsylvania football is religion, much like the way it is in Texas. Like Western PA is like football heartland. So fun fact, I grew up, one of my best friends from about 6th grade on, hardcore Steelers fan his whole life, and loves the Steelers and tries to go see them once a year. He has never seen a game in Pittsburgh. He's been to like 18 Steelers games, but he's never been to Pittsburgh because
that's crazy.
It's really hard to get tickets. So
even the tickets at SoFi, which was 80% Steelers fans, but just the Steelers are expensive ticket in general. Those were like $500 for a ticket that when I went to Rams Seahawks was $190.
Yeah,
like it's legitimately hard to go to Steelers games.
They're a draw. Like, and it's not that I don't like the Steelers. I love a lot of Steelers players. I have ultimate respect for Mike Tomlin. I would love to see a Steelers game if we ever get the opportunity to go just to get access. A, it would be really fun, and B, you've met him. It was Derek.
Oh, right.
Yeah, my buddy Derek is the Steelers fan. So if we ever happen to get an extra ticket, that would blow his mind. Like he would probably melt.
I mean, I've seen Renegade live with my own eyes at a night game, and that is one of the closest I think it comes in the NFL to a college atmosphere.
Yeah,
is when that song starts up and all the towels are going. Like it's among NFL atmospheres, it's a unique thing because very few teams capture that feeling. That's why I like going to college games.
Yep. All right, should we break news before kickoff? Because we have news.
We should break news in the last 4 minutes that we got. Go for it.
That's right. All right. So I'm very kind of Brett to let me have this one. We have been working on this for a very long time. And really, we could say we did it, but it's really that you all did it. Homage has been blown away with you, the bootleggers, support of their brand since we started up with them. You may remember if you've been with the channel for a while, we started up with them at the draft, had them featured all through the summer promo series and have continued on through the series. And if you watch the entire summer preview series, which some of you sickos did, I know, thank you very much. we poked a little bit. We said, you will make our shirts. You will submit They finally did. So we have been a top 10 partner for Homage really since we started. That's impressed them a fair amount, and happy to announce we've already signed the paperwork. We are finishing up final designs, and Homage is going to be hosting bootleg gear on their site. So very soon you are going to be able to buy a couple of different bootleg t-shirts and a couple of different bootleg hoodies off Homage. Proceeds, as they do, go to support the channel as well, especially if you use our link. But either way, because there are designs, we are thrilled because we think Homage makes the best gear in the game, and now our logo is going to be on that stuff, and you all can have it in a very easy to get package. So like I said,
this has been EJ's 6-month journey to get softer bootleg shirts. This has been all he wanted.
So good. Honestly, I am way more thrilled about this than I should be, and I'll fully admit that. Like, they're freaking t-shirts, but they're great t-shirts, and I love them, and I am overly excited about this. So we know that we thank our patrons a lot, but we have not involved you as much as we would like. We've been busy doing things like this. Time to change that. So we have 8 prospective designs from Homage, and we need to pick 4 because we get 4 SKUs that will go on their website. So if you are a bootleg patron starting tomorrow, you are going to get emailed a link to a survey, and you are going to get to help us choose which 4 are your favorite designs. Winners are going to go up on the site. We'll probably do some giveaways as well. I'm just keen to do that. They're amazing. They've been tremendous and supportive through this whole thing. They're really excited about it. They don't typically do this. They do this for the Kelsey's podcast, New Heights. They do it for Good Morning Football's Angry Runs, and then they generally do it only for charities after that. So they do not make custom gear for podcasts. So this is a big deal. It's a big step. We're thrilled. The gear's great. We can't wait to wear it, share it with you all. But if you're a patron, be looking at your email tomorrow. We're going to be emailing you a nice little graphic so you get to see all of them. They'll all be numbered, and you get to pick your top 4 choices. We'll poll stay open for a couple of days. We'll get that information back to Homage, and then very quickly after that, because they're pretty ready to go, and they're excited to get it soft launched and rolled out, and so are we. So thank you all very much. Absolutely would not have happened without your support of Homage, and it's going to be great. So we're psyched.
We have players on the field. They're getting set for kickoff. Looks like Titans are kicking off to Steelers. So place your bets now. Are we getting a first down sprint out to the left? You got a decent odds. Not gonna lie, decent odds. I'm gonna say yes. If we get like a play action shot on first down, by the way, I'll know that Matt Canada will watch the video. Like, if that's what we get on first down, I'll be like, all right, the league is clearly paying attention.
Well, we did say last night on Bears Over Beers, which has a much smaller footprint, my other podcast where I focus on the Bears, that they should extend Andrew Billings because he's played incredibly solid football this year, and he is in need, and he probably wouldn't be that expensive. And this morning, they extended Andrew Billings.
Andrew Billings got signed?
Yep.
I totally missed that. How much?
Not much. 8 and 6 for 2 years guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like, totally reasonable.
Fuck yeah. Like, that's a great deal.
Isn't that just, it's so opposite all the other things that are happening in Bears land that you probably just missed it because you had your negative filters on. Like all of us, which would be completely fair. But we also said that they should sign Montez Sweat and JJ to new deals. So if they were listening, they should get on that. Like, keep rolling here. 1 down, 2 to go. Like, get to it.
All right. Kenny Pickett coming out for his first drive from the 22. Left hash, which means it's probably not going to be a sprint out to the left, but sprint out to the right, still on the table.
You got to tell me when you get the snap.
Okay.
Snap.
Okay, you're 3 seconds, 4 seconds ahead of me.
Okay, we can live with that.
We got a classic Najee run for 4 or 5 yards.
That's not 6 or 20, like some of the lags we had earlier in the season, which were completely laughable. Curtis Rogers for $5. What two teams in your lifetime would you love to see play each other? Ooh, also Costco selling Cointreau liter bottle for 25 if you use it a lot. I don't. Brett might.
A liter of Cointreau?
I yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
many margaritas are you making?
That's a lot of cocktails. A lot of
I
cocktails.
say that
All right.
with Cointreau in his cocktail right now, but still.
Oh boy. Yeah,
All
but
right.
like this much. That's the thing. So classic Steelers, second down. Let's set up a screen. Titans D line says, "Yeah, nah, we got a bunch of guys with really long arms. We're super aggressive. Nah, we've seen your tape. That's not going to be it." Oh,
So,
did you know that Canada's calling from the sideline this week for the first time?
interesting.
Yeah, so I cannot wait for the sideline shots. Like I am giddy for the like 3rd and 12, and he calls a screen and he has to look at Tomlin and he can't hide. Like I'm so excited for that. I know I shouldn't be, but I am.
So he got it.
Yep.
And it's in between the numbers.
Quick little first down to Allen Robinson, who has been largely absent, honestly, for the last 2 years, but certainly this year for the Steelers offense. Oh, and he slipped off the. Nope, he didn't. That's a nice little cross, and the Titans just let him have it versus zone.
It is, again, it's nice to see a route in between the numbers that is not turn around and look at Kenny. It's movement, it's space. We'll see what they got. All right, trips to the field. Deontay is isolated.
Nice. I like it.
That's all Warren, too.
Yeah, I know. I don't
9 out of 10 of their swing screens on first down don't work. That's going to be the call that Canada says, see, that's why we do it.
The last 30 of them were worth it for that one alone. No, they weren't. But okay, no, when it works out like that, it looks brilliant. But the problem is, as you said, most of them don't work out like that.
I mean, they work when it's to Jalen Warren. All right, 2nd and 1. We got Darnell Washington in there. Can we please run behind him?
Oh boy. Wow. Steelers offensive line doing a pretty good job on the right side of the Steelers defensive line on that run. Like they are not an easy bunch to move out. And I was impressive.
The bar is so low for Canada. Yeah. A confident drive is we're like, oh, look at this.
Yeah, like a screen that worked. Neat. Yeah, not exotic football here. Just competent football would be great. Ask any Steelers fan. That's all they really want. And they have not seen a ton of it on the offensive side.
All right, pass midfield.
All right.
Motion out of an FIB look. And it's motion at the snap with a throw to an H-back? Matt. You dirty girl. Where have you been?
You've turned a leaf.
Oh, no. Flag.
Oh, nope. It's going against Titans. Decline. They'll take it. All right. I have to say, early returns for the Steelers offense, like decidedly not putrid. This is competent. This will work. This is within their skill set. That's a great stat they just flashed. First quarter total yards last week versus Jacksonville was 7. We talked about it being 22 by the half. They've had 40 plus this drive.
Like I said, the Coleman curse. It's inevitable.
It is inevitable. And,
this is a positive Coleman curse, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I get confused with the curse is like, at what point is a reverse curse actually just a boost?
I mean, you saw I did the Patriots episode, then they put up like 30 something on Buffalo.
Suddenly competent. Like
okay.
Hard to explain. Oh, now we start up with the flags, which has been another problem for the Steelers offense all year. The times when they have had a little bit of competent offense, a lot of times it's been short-circuited by penalties, which is not a typical Mike Tomlin gig.
What was the call? Oh, downfield. Okay.
Yeah, illegal downfield because he was like almost 10 yards downfield.
All right.
Woo.
Let's see what we got.
Did you see the Green Bay play last week?
No.
Drop back and nobody ran a route. Everybody blocked.
Oh, so there was just a complete
Everybody,
fuck up.
all 10 of them blocked. Like quarterback drops back and like everybody's got hands inside frames and backs to the quarterback. Like it was like, oh, so woo, yeah, not great.
Yeah, I think it's become clear that the Jordan Love thing is going to be temporary. All right, Kenny. All right,
All
Kenny.
right.
Kenny.
Okay.
Kenny. Don't die, Kenny. Oh, Deontay. Making people
Yeah.
miss in the open field.
And
12 after the catch. You know, I will say this is one of the more impressive Steelers offensive drives that they've had in a while.
Considering you've watched that many of them, oh man,
I've watched every one of them.
Kenny. I know. I was trying to limit your suffering for the people at home, but yeah, no, you persevered through all that. That's all Kenny, right? We talked at length about Joe Burrow and his ability to escape. Like Kenny should have been in the grass right there. Like that was really good pocket movement by him. That play doesn't happen without him. Oh, okay. Now they're throwing down the field. Let's go.
We got switch releases. We got. I mean, this is not the Steelers' offense.
No,
that's the thing.
All right. Here's your end zone view of this one. This one's. We said this at the top that we needed Deontay to be stretching the field. That's as stretchy as the Steelers' offense gets. That's like a 22-yard completion.
I'm genuinely excited about this.
I hope it lasts. I really do, because this is completely palatable football to watch, and there hasn't been a lot of that on the Steelers' offensive side. Again, the defensive side, it's been great. Uh-oh.
Ooh, nice little power run.
Yep.
73.
See what happens?
God, fuck. I always miss the pronunciation. Suamalo?
Suamalo, you got it. Close. Man, for those of you that watched the Steelers preview episode this summer, that was a force.
I was fighting for my life out there, man.
I was ready for you to just Troy Aikman that thing and be like, Sassafras blocked him. Let's go. Like,
but that was a phenomenal drive by him. Their two most explosive runs came behind 73. I'm not even gonna fucking butcher it anymore.
Sayumalo.
Fuck.
Just say malo. You can do it. Say malo. Anyways, the thing that I was saying is, see what happens when you throw deep to the corner. Like the defense can't compress. Even a really good defense like the Titans can't just compact and sit down on all your screens and little 5 and 7 yard hitches and whatever. When you start pushing out to the corners of the field and completing that, they're like, "Ooh, we got to respect that." And suddenly, Najee has an alley, and yeah, he had contact, but Najee's fine running through contact. It's just not great when it hits him, 0.5 yards into the backfield every play. So all the parts of the offense start to work better when you visit those areas that you've just seen in postcards earlier.
Stunned might be too strong of a word, but
I don't know. I'm pretty stunned. I think stunned is fair. While we've got an ad, Hendog 1000 for $9.99. Thank you very much, Hendog. What high proof beverages are we enjoying tonight, gentlemen? Well, I'm enjoying LaCroix currently. I will probably be having something in the second half, but Brett has a cocktail.
I made myself an alligator, which is a Fernet cocktail, because Hockey's sent me a bottle of Fernet Branca for the stream. And it's basically the same ratios-ish as a margarita, but with entirely different stuff. So it's Fernet Branca is the base spirit. And then 3/4 ounce lime juice, 1/2 ounce Cointreau, 1/2 ounce cinnamon syrup. Shake it all up, put it over a rock. It's good stuff. Now, it's not for everybody, but for me, it's perfect.
And he does mean a rock, because Coleman, for those of you that haven't visited the Coleman residence, has the nice ice.
Of course, I put in effort to make good ice for cocktails.
It's true. You do indeed. I appreciate that about you.
We
Is
do the
that what you?
directional freezing thing to get the clear rocks and everything. It matters.
I,
It matters.
well, I'm telling you, attention to detail. That's why folks love you, man.
Well, remaining question now is how does Will Levis answer? Because, Minka or no Minka, the Steelers' defense is formidable. They have pass rushers all over the place. Joey Porter Jr. Is emerging as a star, like not a future star, but a star right now. Um, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. I'm really curious to see if Joey matches up with D Hop because in terms of like long physical corners that can stand up to Hopkins's old man strength. I mean, you saw him
Yep.
just kind of thrown around AJ last week. Joey might be able to do that. So I'm really, really curious to see if that's the matchup we get outside.
If the Steelers defense comes out and gets some early pressure hits, hurries, drops Levis a couple times, the first couple of drives don't go very far. I'm interested to see how excited the crowd gets because it doesn't take much in Pittsburgh. They can get excited about very small things, and this would not be a very small thing. If that happens and the Steelers come out and drop another 7 on the board, we might be on our way to Mike Tomlin kind of okey doke and a rookie again.
Yeah. Penalty on who?
Nope, Titans. So return team.
Okay.
Chat says that Hall of Fame Canada, sideline Canada is a Hall of Famer.
Okay, here's the thing. If that was what was missing this entire time, why did it take 2.5 years to get there?
Zachary Kreitz for $5. I chose to believe that they didn't watch Brett, but that it took Canada 2.5 years to figure out he should be calling.
Why did it take 2.5 years? Like
Zachary, you're on the same page here. Like, is that it? If it is, that's going to be staggering in a not good way.
All right, let's see what Levis
All right.
got. First one to
a little bit of
Henry.
Settle the rook, hostile crowd, give it to the king.
And
like,
I know it's
offense.
loud as fuck there right now.
Oh yeah,
because when do they ever get a first quarter lead to cheer for? Like
against a team they think they can probably beat. Let's go. Wow. Yeah, Titans just stacking it up. Completely condensed formation. Bunch of big bodies in there. This feels like a single route to Hopkins. No, he's not even looking his way. All right. I like it.
I mean, just stack completions, get first downs.
Yep. Calm through his reads. There's a lot to like about that in this particular position. First road start for a rookie, loud as hell, facing a defense that is no joke. Certainly not a defense that you're looking at your schedule and say, oh, I want to start our rookie quarterback against them. Like, nah, you probably don't. And Watt gets a roughing the passer to kick things off. Welcome to the NFL, Rook.
I didn't even see it. I gotta.
Oh, no, it was good. Like, he earned it.
Yeah, when you land on the body weight, like they're gonna call it.
The hit was in 2 steps, but he landed right on him.
Yeah, it's the body weight thing.
He can complain all he wants, but that one he earned.
And not only is it body weight, but when you lock their arms and do body weight, like they're gonna call you every time.
Yeah. Here comes your flag. Ooh, snap. Not great. He caught it, which is great. But not a great snap. That's not something you want your rookie to be dealing with and everything else, but he seems cool with it. He seemed extremely comfortable last week. Like he definitely at no point during that game did he look what I would call shook. He was just like, yeah, let's go. It was a football game at that point, which is great to see.
Jawbreaker says, "Drink a gator, draw a gator on the whiteboard. It's time for it to return." Yes, when I get the whiteboard up here, I absolutely will.
Halftime.
I texted my wife. She's on her way home from work. Well, at some point she's on her way home from work. I don't know. She gets
at some point, yeah.
She's just as much a workaholic as me.
I
asked her to grab it.
Okay.
Are they calling PI on that though?
The flag position would indicate but I think he literally hit the defender with that pass. Like he gunned that thing.
That's what DB
Yep.
coaches would say. Oh,
Yep.
we undercut
Oh, we got hit by it.
it.
Okay, they're giving him illegal contact. So, and he's working versus Traylon. Yeah, he just rode him down the field. He never. That's Pat Pete. He never let him go.
I mean, you do it until they call it because they're not going to call it every single time, and that's always been his play style. He's always been a really physical guy who's going to,
Yeah.
try to outmuscle you because they're not going to call 50 penalties a game.
Let's hope not. All right. Titans trying to string a drive together. They get bailed out by a penalty. Oh, rush comes and,
Better
took
than
another
a
hit.
sack. Better than a sack.
Yeah, better than a sack. Took another hit. It's going to start adding up. They're getting to him. Obviously, the rush ends for the Steelers. Two of the best in the league. Highsmith has really come on. If you're not a Steelers fan or a Steelers watcher, thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
What I don't understand is the Titans' best left tackle isn't playing left tackle for them. Like Dillard's struggled this year.
Yes, he has.
And especially when you got a rookie quarterback, like, is this the best they can do with it? Like, I know they have they drafted him in the first round. Like, I don't know. Some of their personnel decisions honestly kind of reminds me of the Steelers with not playing Broderick Jones when, like, clearly he's a better pass protector than Dan Moore, but they just won't do it.
Yep. Top Gun 87 for $10. Long time, first time. Thank you very much. The Coleman curse is real. Yes, we know this.
Very
absolutely
real. Very,
beyond
very
a
real.
shadow of a doubt. I humbly request a very critical breakdown of McCarthy's play calling in Dallas. See, this is your next revenue stream, Brett.
Is saving
anti-cursing teams that are horrible.
Well, we talk about it in the podcast that comes out tomorrow, how the Cowboys more than tripled their average usage of motion at the snap last week and all of a sudden had a 30-point lead in the first half. So who knew that modern passing concepts actually work?
Yeah, that 70s Super Bowl powers can change their offense too. We saw the Cowboys do it, and now we're seeing the Steelers do it. So nice little, great play from Tyjae Spears to stretch that one out. No, he doesn't get it, but they go 4th and 1. And they got Wildcat and they put Levis out wide. Let's see if Levis can catch. Uh-oh.
I mean, they're giving him all the space in the world.
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Henry, savvy veteran pickup.
He's still got, for a running back with the mileage on his legs, and I'm counting college and high school, and his
100%.
age, he has an unnatural amount of juice for somebody with that much wear and tear. Like, he still looks like Derrick Henry, which in itself is amazing to me.
Yeah, it's pretty staggering because nobody looks like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. And it's like, oh, who do you compare Derrick Henry to? And you're like,
nobody.
That's not a winning game typically. So the fact that he has not fallen directly off a cliff and sunk to the bottom of the ocean is staggering. Oh, okay.
That cut from Tyjae, that first cut.
Go.
That's dirty.
I love it.
That is fucking dirty.
In the best possible way. I agree.
Oh.
He should start an OnlyFans channel. That was absolutely filthy. And it's going against the defense.
God, I want them to show a replay of that first cut. That was so nasty.
Yeah, that was complete stop. But I love, man, look at Porter. Porter goes for the face mask because Tyjae is stiff-arming the piss out of him.
He's so good.
He is. Like, I am glad that Derrick Henry still looks like Derrick Henry, but whenever that ceases to be the case, like, Titans run game's in good hands. Tyjae Spears, one of our favorites from this year's pre-draft process. He's just a really fun and talented player.
Who needs a functioning ACL? Nobody.
Hey, man, Thermal did it without one. So.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, throwback screen to Henry. Yeah, okay.
On those kind of plays, I would have wished that he kind of gunned it more to get it there quicker, because every millisecond that ball hangs in the
Well,
air, like,
here's the thing about Levis, though. One of the things he heard most prominently throughout the entire pre-draft process was, man, he just throws guns all the time. He just
yeah.
tries to throw it through a wall on every pass. So he's had the like touch vibe drilled into his head pretty hard. I'm with you. He should throw that one a little bit harder, but he's just like, oh, this is the time. He's going to have to figure out when the time is. He had it right last week. Like, we've
Yeah.
seen him do it. He did not at least 2 of the 4 long completions last week, if he had thrown them flat, would have had a much lower chance of being completed. He threw them with air underneath them, like on purpose, and they were great throws. Ben Solak, if you're not following Ben Solak, what are you doing? But Ben did his play sheet breakdown, highlighted the one where Levis rolled out to the right past the hash and then threw it all the way into the end zone.
It's a beautiful ball. Beautiful.
Probably be thrown at about the 10 or 15-yard line. Uh-oh, there you go. Highsmith gets around the corner.
I think there's a late flag coming in for offside. Like, it kind of looked like somebody jumped.
That's possible.
Like, very late flag.
Anyways, Ben, if you're not following Ben, go follow Ben. You're probably all following Ben. Great series he has called Play Sheet. Comes out every week. And just highlights like how ridiculous Will Levis's arm is. Like, there are not very many quarterbacks in the NFL that can make the throw that he made to Nick Westbrook-Akine last week, all the way across the field in the corner of the end zone. In fact, Westbrook-Akine is like trying to break that off flat at about the 10, and then he sees him let it go, and it looks like the outfielder that was playing the crack of the bat and then picked up the ball and goes, oh no.
Yeah.
And what he's really saying to himself under the helmet is, who does that? Like, how does he throw that thing that far? I'm sure he's seen it in practice, but yikes.
Oh, they called it on Porter. I thought they called it on Highsmith.
Okay, so Porter, 2 penalties. This drive.
They both technically jumped, but they just gave it to Porter, I guess. But
yeah, we all know that negative ties go to the defender, right? That's a rule book.
All right. So we got
backwards pass.
Man, they're busting out everything.
D-Hop, do the right thing. Oh my goodness.
I mean, he still gained yards. we'll take a 5-yard gain on a completely busted ass play.
I was going to say, I am absolutely sure that is the first backwards pass reverse that turned into basically a mini tush push that I've ever seen. Like a bunch of linemen going, okay, well, you're here now.
This play was dead.
Yeah.
Like, and this is Pop Warner of just, hey, best player, just take off and run.
Draw it up in the dirt. Oh, my goodness.
All right, in the red zone from the 10. So it's medium red zone. Single high structure. Ooh, we're getting a fast 3.
Not quite. All right, got to give a shout out to Nick JC, $4.99. Still not sure how I feel about getting the shit exposed out of me by Brett. You didn't get the shit exposed out of you. You just joined in the fun, Nick. Just think of it that way. But I am glad to support you both. Laugh my ass off. Much love for both of you. You too, Nick.
I hope that your heart has healed, Nick. I will say that.
We only tease the ones we love.
You'll be fine.
All right.
There's other fish in the sea, which is it's all I can really say.
Well, okay. What? All right. We got a lot going on here.
So TJ's got his helmet off.
Yes.
Are we calling hands to the face? I think so.
I imagine that's what's happening. And we're picking up another sack, another hit. They stack up. It's against the Titans. Decline it. Obviously take the result of the play. Keep the sack on the books for TJ.
First helmetless sack of the year.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Yeah, nah. He's honestly lucky he still has a nose. That was violent.
Yeah.
That was not a little one. That was the full meal deal.
So, did you see the story that JJ told about TJ where he almost died in Italy?
I don't think I did. I see a
So
lot of this stuff.
apparently, all of them have like severe tree nut allergies, like all the Watt brothers.
Oh no,
And
I definitely didn't.
they were in Italy after JJ won his second Defensive Player of the Year. So I don't even think TJ was in the league yet. He was still at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And they got a pesto,
Uh-oh.
unaware that there's a lot of pine nuts in it. And TJ stopped breathing in the restaurant, and they had to take him to the hospital. And they couldn't communicate with the Italian doctors, and so the Italian doctors were like doing like the EpiPen motion, like trying to ask them if they had their EpiPen, and TJ was like, and so he's like, "Do it,
don't don't stab my brother." No, it's not that. It's the other thing. Oh, I'm super glad, obviously, for multiple reasons that he didn't, but yeah.
Always carry your EpiPens.
Yes, no joke, because you never know, especially in a foreign land, what's in the food that might just set off your.
But also in my head, I'm like, what kind of shit pesto were you having in America that didn't have pine nuts in it?
Yeah.
It's like one of them.
There's
like 4 ingredients in pesto.
Yeah,
That's one of them.
It's not something that's easy to avoid in pesto. Matthew Wright for $2. This was a while back with D'Amico Ryans. The 49ers are 7-1 right now. Question mark. I'll give you 6-2.
But I still don't think they beat the Browns.
No.
Well,
I'll give you 6-2.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
6-2 with a tilt, like plus 6-2 with the plus or minus 1, if that makes sense. I think they could be 6-2. The defense was more dominant. The corners, strangely, over the stretch that they've been losing, have started to show some flaws that were being either weren't there before or were being pasted over a little bit. I'm not quite sure which, but they've both given up more completions. They're still playing well, but they're not playing as well. They were playing at a just completely knockout elite level. They've also both been flagged more over the past 3 weeks than we've seen in the weeks prior, and certainly through the end of last season. So teams are starting to be like, hey, we can go with their corners. Like, especially if we get one-on-one, we can go with their corners. And they've had some success there, and that's starting to be not the formula. I don't like it when people say, oh, it's the formula or that's the blueprint. Like, it's part of the formula that people are starting to feel more comfortable throwing outside against the Niners than they have been in quite some time. So I think maybe it's tough to say because, corners get older too. If you look at their NFC rivals across the country and the Eagles, like they have the same corners and the same defensive coordinator, and they just kind of look like they got old a little bit. Like they're not playing as well either over the past, especially 3 games, but really like month.
I think
which is one of the reasons they got fired. So
probably would have beat Minnesota because I think D'Amico could have schemed up better ways to get pressure there. And I don't think a D'Amico Ryans defense would lose to the indomitable Brandon Powell. Other than that, though, I mean, again, they're what, 5-3?
Yeah.
So you give them an extra win for D'Amico, but
yeah,
I
go 6-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't beat Cincy with, like, I don't think D'Amico would have made a difference in that game.
Yeah, a difference, but again, the bigger difference was the fact that the Bengals picked off two balls in that game. Like, those interceptions are the difference, and D'Amico's not running the offense, so.
All right. Kenny out for another drive.
Oh.
And motion at the snap. Let's go.
Kinda.
I mean, it counts, technically.
Oh, sure. No, I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm saying the result was, okay, so you move before the snap. The result, about the same. Like, again, looks like Tennessee's settling a little bit. Like I said, I want to see basically the script. What we were seeing from the Steelers on the first drive is obviously the script. The script looked really good. I want to see if once they get off the script and Canada has to react to whatever adjustments Vrabel and his guys are making, I want to see if he can continue it. Or if they do this, which is starting to look like a very fast stall.
Well, at least it wasn't a run on 2nd and 8, which is still a tendency breaker for them. So we'll take it. But
Again, baby steps. He didn't do the worst thing.
didn't do the
Oh,
worst
okay.
thing. But a 3rd and 8,
Neat.
we'll see. We'll see what he's got for
Yeah,
that.
this is, you know, when people say, "Oh, they're not built to come from behind," Steelers this year on offense have not been built for 3rd and 8.
And their overall 3rd down conversion rate is like 11th worst in the last 3 games. So not. Oh man, he's gonna want that back. That would have been our Pickens. That would have been our Pickens hit at least.
I understand, and I really like the pocket movement. Or if we're highlighting positives, this is a great job of sliding up in the pocket, climbing the pocket by Kenny Pickett to get himself a clear throwing lane, and he just, as he's kind of hitching his feet, he doesn't set. He
just
leans a little bit too strongly on that front foot and kind of pitches it, dart throws it, and it goes right over his head. It is a difficult thing to do. None of this is easy. Wow. Great special teams tackle.
He got like
Boykin.
one hand on the belt, got him down by
That's
that.
Boykin. I'm sorry. I'm going to be a Boykin stan forever. Like, even if it's on special teams, like, I really liked him coming out. But it is a very difficult thing to do in terms of climbing the pocket and resetting your feet on what amounts to a touch throw. And he didn't get it done. Doesn't mean he'll never get it done, but he did the first part. The first part is avoid pressure, step up, find a clear lane, identify the right target. None of that was bad. So again, you got to do 5 out of 5 good things on a play as a quarterback to have it work out. He did 4 out of 5. Like, yep, got to get the target point on that throwdown. That's probably going to come from resetting his base. But these are things that people can learn and adjust. And the first part, I would argue, is harder than the last part that he missed. Like, having the sense of, now I have to climb. I don't need to run. I don't need to drop my eyes. Like, that's all harder to do. And he did the hard stuff. He just didn't he didn't finish.
Quick note, by the way, didn't realize this. Broderick Jones is starting at right tackle tonight, not at left tackle. So we'll keep an eye on that as the game goes on. Ages for $5 says, can you not make a video on the Falcons offense so Arthur Smith gets fired and we get Ben Johnson for head coach? Get in line for Ben Johnson, okay?
That's like a reverse curse. Like, please don't use the reverse curse because we want it to just keep going. We need that ship to sail directly into the shore and sink.
Falcons are going to win like 8 games, like 7-8 games. And
I know, which is, they don't want that.
The question is, does Arthur Smith get fired for a 7 or 8 win season? And I don't know, because
it's more difficult.
They're going to, honestly, they say they don't do this, but like, this happens in the NFL. There's a lot of coaches, or there's a lot of teams, and I'm not going to accuse the Falcons of doing this, but I know this happens in the NFL. There's a lot of teams that will make their hiring, or rather their firing decisions based on preliminarily talking to the agents of the guys they want, to ask if the guys they want even want to go there. And if the answer is no,
going to be available,
or if they're going to be available, right? That's just what happens. You can call it tampering. You're correct. Guess who tampers in the NFL? Everybody. Everybody. Like, people don't make moves unless, well, good organizations. I mean, we've heard some stories of organization making moves without checking before. But good organizations don't make moves unless they cross their T's and dot their I's before they do it.
Have some certainty about what's happening. And people will call that tampering. And if you believe that it doesn't go on in one form or another, legal or illegal, you are naive. It most certainly does.
Yeah.
When this much money is at stake, a lot of it goes on. There are a lot of assurances traded back and forth. Oh, he's up.
Petit Frere.
He's back down.
Okay.
Yeah. He looks like he got dinged for a second. He was standing up on his own. They asked him to kneel back down, but that's a good. Oh, was it the arm? Hand?
I can't tell, honestly. It kind of
It
looked like
looked like
his wrist hit TJ's helmet. I
yeah.
think that's what it was.
Oh, his shoulder, he got bent back a little bit. I could see that. So,
But yeah, I mean that's what agents are for. Like agents are just a conduit of tampering. Like that's their entire purpose. Like the reason why they opened the quote unquote legal tampering window was just so that it was all out in the open of like, yeah, everybody's talking to agents beforehand, but guess what? You know when the actual tampering starts? The fucking combine. Like 3 weeks before that. So like
yeah.
that's when all these deals get done. Like they get done in Indy. That's why everybody goes to Indy.
Yeah. 100%. All right. Petit Frere headed into the tent, going to get his shoulder checked out. Got Dylan. Now, I've heard Reduns or Radins. Do you have a preference? Because I don't know
I
the
thought it was
correct.
Radins. I mean, I'm
Okay,
probably wrong, but
let's just say Radins, because then we'll at least be wrong together. All right, nice little run from Henry.
good
Off the
block
right
from
side.
Chig, too.
Yeah. If you haven't watched our pre-draft interview with Chig, definitely do that. Head to Bootleg, type in Chigaconquo. You will see our pre-draft interview with him from the Shrine Bowl. We talked with him specifically about his progression as a blocker during college, and he was quite honest about that. That he was not into blocking when he showed up at Maryland. Did not think it was cool. Did not want to do it. Credited his coaches with saying, "Hey, this is something you're going to need to do, especially at your size." And that talk about how he got into that as he got better at it, got some skill with it, and then came to actually enjoy it by the time he was about ready to leave Maryland. So,
Oh, Radoons.
Radoons.
A third fighter enters the arena.
All right. Levis backed up on his own goal line, rips one.
I mean, 1st and 23, and you're converting. This is why we say when you're backed up, do not give up. Like don't do like a little. Uh-oh, who's that?
53.
Oh shit, is that Holcomb?
Yeah, I think so.
Looked like it happened away from the play.
No, it happened right at the very end of the play.
Oh, it is
Right at the
Holcomb. Shit.
very end of the play. But let's get back to talking about the dot from Levis on his own goal line, hostile environment. The coverage was not terrible, and he hit Hopkins in the hands on the run, converts on, let's be honest, a down there is no play for. Like, oh, what do you got in your playbook for 3rd and 23? Like, yeah, we got a couple of 20-yarders. You're going to have to get the other 3 on your own. Like, that's, and we literally have a couple of 20-yarders.
It's a really, really tough down and distance, especially when you're backed up in your own end zone. But like that's why you have to be aggressive when you're so far behind the chains, because you're not going to get out of that kind of hole with conservatism. All you're doing is basically just giving up the drive and saying, "Here, have this field position," or rather, "Here, start your next drive at the 50." Like you got to take swings. And to do that, you need a quarterback that you can take swings with that has the kind of arm talent to be able to make that throw, which clearly Levis is. But like that is a high level football play to be backed up like that and say, "All right, kid, we gotta rip this thing to get out of this situation, or we're in deep shit here, right?" Like that's a high level play from Levis. Love it.
And it's on you. Like that's a lot of trust in a rookie quarterback in his second start. A lot of coaches would have called draw, short screen.
They would have just given up.
Like, hey, we'll go get 8 or 10 yards. We'll give our punter some space. Like, look, it's a rookie in Pittsburgh. We're not going to lose. Instead, they let him cut it loose, and he paid it off. And that's going to build confidence really quickly. Like, remember when he was in the worst possible situation? Literally throwing from his own end zone in Pittsburgh, and he ripped that one to D-Hop and picked us up a 3rd and 23. You remember that? Like, let him have a little bit of rope, and they're gonna. And the more times that he completes those, he already started that process last week. The more times that he pays that off for the coaching staff, the more they're going to open up the playbook and their confidence is going to grow. It's already growing. The fact that they would, in the first half of the game, let that go is a sign that they're okay with him. Oh, Holcomb's being carted off. Not great.
He was immediately grabbing it like it was a bad one.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Sorry to see it for sure.
So I would guess Landon Roberts is coming in for him. Is my best guess. Which obviously changes the nature of their defense because those are two very different.
I was going to say Landon Roberts is a lot more forwards than he is backwards, so you're going to see him come because he's been successful in generating pressure for the Steelers this year, but he is not a great drop back defender in anything other than the flat. So Titans start this one off 35, fresh set of downs. Not even out of the first quarter. Looks like a false start.
False start, yeah.
Back.
On Westbrook Akine.
So Curtis Rogers for $5 didn't want to miss this one. I've noticed Zay likes to jump and body catch open deep passes. Is that a worry long term? I think worry might be strong. Yes, he does. There are lots of other receivers that like to do that in the NFL. Some of them, it is a problem. Some of them, it's just kind of an annoyance. It seems to work out for them. Time will tell. I wouldn't call it a worry. I would call it a watch and see if he can get over that habit. Some guys can't. Some guys, 7 years in the league, they're still doing it.
I was talking when I was at the Super Bowl. That was actually one of the things that I can't believe you got that off. So right. Kyle Phillips was at 7.5 yards, and I really thought about doing Kyle Phillips at 7.5, and I'm upset that I didn't. But I was talking to Steve Smith at the Super Bowl about it because he was at the Underdog House because he also obviously has a podcast with Underdog. And somehow we got on the topic of receivers that jump for every single pass even when they don't have to. And a point that he made was that there's some guys, they can't concentrate on the catch unless they basically just shut down their lower body. And if they're moving side to side or if they're tracking something deep, like they can't help it. Like they need to jump so that all of their brain power is not, working on their feet. It's working on their hands and contorting their torso and everything like the true sideline artists are the ones who can independently track and catch with their hands and be conscious of where their feet are and manipulate them in midair to work the side. Like some guys can do it, some guys can't. It's literally just how your brain works type thing. Like, do you jump as a mechanism to improve your catch rate because you need it to concentrate, or can you, do? It's not like left brain, right. I mean, it kind of is left brain, right brain, right? Like, can you engage both halves of your brain at the same time? Can you engage both halves of your body at the same time? Some guys just don't feel comfortable with it, and so they jump, and it just kind of is what it is.
That is probably the most fascinating description of why that happens that I've ever heard. And I would trust Steve implicitly on
Steve,
that.
Obviously, Steve, he could do whatever. He did everything.
Yeah,
but,
he was one of the other ones, but I don't even know that I would have considered that, which is why it's really awesome to have those opportunities to be able to ask people who are in the arena those questions and say, hey, this looks this way. Like, what can you tell us? What value can you add? And the answer is a lot most times, and it really opens your eyes. And it makes us think about other things in different ways. Like, hey, maybe they don't do that because it's kind of the same as the thing Steve was talking about. Joshua Hall for $2. Wasn't it 1st and 23? It might have been. If it was the third play of the drive, I may well have said 3rd and 23. Appreciate the correction. It was whatever down it was and a mile. Yeah. And he picked it up and then followed it up in that drive under pressure with the throw to Kyle Phillips. Like, these are not scared rookie plays. These are the right play under pressure, like in high pressure situations. That's really good news if you're a Titans fan. Like that's not one of the elements over here. Like, oh, he made a good throw, but it was a clean pocket. It's like dirty pocket, deep in his own end zone. guys getting their hands up in his vision late in the play, hitting the correct dump off receiver, not throwing a pick, not putting the ball in harm's way. Those are all high level quarterbacking traits. Like those are all things that separate guys with great arms from great quarterbacks who also have great arms. Like quarterbacking is all of it: movement in the pocket, accuracy, working through your reads, staying calm when things get muddy, because they are going to get muddy. For Levis to be doing that stuff sort of in concert in his second start in the pros, yep.
And what's
Really
crazy
good
is
sign.
like, I mean, he showed a lot of this at Kentucky, but not super consistently. But he's been pretty. I mean, as of course as he's taken a sack, but I mean, so far he's been pretty consistent in terms of right decision, good ball. Like it's kind of.
And I'm not going to put that sack on him because, look,
I mean,
Dillard just dove at Highsmith's legs and said, "Nope, I missed."
Yeah, that was not on him at all. It's more so like it's just kind of amazing how you never really know which of the guys that are gonna grow and turn it on the second they get to the league, right? And so far, at least, Levis looks like one of those.
Yeah, and it's nope, not gonna happen.
Great coverage on Hop down the sideline, though.
I believe the referee is saying to Hop at this point, nah, we're not calling it like you got it called last week. Like you're not getting freebies. Like you're gonna earn it.
We talked pregame about Joey against Hop and press coverage and what would that look like, and it looks exactly like that. Again, the length. You're playing chest to chest technique down the boundary. Which is, I don't want to say it's like the main technique in terms of press man outside the numbers for an outside release, but like a lot of DBs that are built like Joey, DB coaches will teach you play it chest to chest. You stay on top of the route. Your chest is pointed at their chest. You're impeding their progress vertically. And then, of course, as soon as they turn, you turn. And when you're chest to chest, it makes it easier to reach across their body to play back shoulder fades and kind of rake at the ball. That was textbook chest to chest. Great rep by Joey. And it's why he should have been playing from week one, but Steelers to Steelers, they didn't want to do that. I'm happy that he's playing now because he is pretty damn good.
Yeah, and D-Hop is going to play that route that way. He always has throughout his career. There's a lot of contact there. He had his hands on Joey Porter Jr. That is not something new. Like that is who Hopkins is and has been throughout his career. He's incredibly physical down the boundary. And the ref just basically looked at that and said, hey, you're both doing it. I could throw 2 flags here, or I could throw none, and I'm going to throw none.
All right, Kenny back out on the field. This is a third drive, right? I think so. So they only had two first quarter drives. That's actually not a lot.
I think the score is probably the most predictable thing so far in this game. That like 7-3 through the first quarter sounds completely reasonable. Not sure who would have had 7 or 3, but 7-3 sounds very much like a score that belongs in this game.
All right, let's see what we got. Second down. What's the yardage on it, though? Come on, Amazon. Update your graphic. All right, second and 7.
Come on.
Come on, George. We need 1 yard. 1 yard,
Dude,
George.
That hit him in the hands. It's not his favorite type of route, but he's got to catch that. Like, period. He's got to catch that. So Pickett is staring him down from the get-go. There is a lot of contact. It is, I would say, as the ball arrives. Am I wrong? No, it's as the ball arrives. Like, you're going to get a lot of physical cornerback play in the NFL, like a lot. You're going to see contact at the catch point that looks just like that. And don't ever think that, okay, that's a great defensive play.
Slightly underthrown. Well, not slightly. Definitely underthrown by about 5 yards. That's gonna be one that Kenny wants back. And that's what frustrates people about him is like,
agreed.
You do see high-level quarterback play. You see great placement on back shoulder fades and everything like that. But that type of ball, like that, like if you're trying to hit a seam shot, like and you just want to leave it out there with air so that Austin can run under it. He can hit them, but consistency wise, like that type of ball is not his most consistent throw. And the quarterbacks where that is a consistent throw are the ones that are at the very top of the league, right? And so that's kind of the debate that Steelers fans have is like, hey, if we can't hit that throw consistently, can we keep up with the quarterbacks that can? I'm not prepared to say yes or no on that yet because obviously it's unfair to judge Kenny in this offense with this coordinator. But I think it is a fair criticism to say, Jesus, there's a helicopter that like buzzed my building. But I think it is fair to say, it's fair criticism to say that Kenny is not going to hit those types of balls consistently, and so your expectations for him should be altered. You know, is that fair to say?
No, not on that throw. In general, yes, I absolutely agree with you that judging Kenny within the Canada offense is the best you can do is incomplete. On that particular throw, has nothing to do with the offense. He knows where that route's
going.
We
agree. I think we agree on that in the sense that like
he gets the route that he's looking for, and he does two bad things there. He leaves it short, which isn't a cardinal sin. There's a lot of NFL quarterbacks that leave the ball short. It actually works out to draw a lot of DPI. The bad or the worst thing that he did besides short you can live with, is he draws him back inside.
Yeah.
He's got the defender on the inside. He needs to leave that ball to the outside, just as far as he left it to the inside, about 3 yards. If he throws that ball outside, which is farther, which is part of the thing we're talking about here, his deep arm strength is meh. It's okay. It's not great. If he floats that ball outside the hashes to the right, because he's basically running right down the hash.
It's 6.
It's at least a very deep catch, even if he leaves it short.
Yeah.
Because then the receiver, the defender's got to run to get it. The receiver's got a better chance to bring it in. Even if he has to slow down to get it, it's much more likely a chunk play. He did both bad things. And really, if you're looking at that, if you're saying where should that ball be and where should it be placed, that ball's like 6 yards off target. Like, it's not close.
Yeah.
It's badly thrown two ways, short and inside. Needs to be long and outside. If you can't make it long, I'll take outside first because it gives my guy a much better chance to get the ball.
And I think what you and I agree on is like Kenny can be a successful quarterback, but you have to be cognizant of the limitations, and that ball is one of the limitations, right?
Yeah, and you've got to go back to that film and say, look, we're not expecting you to be Will Levis because you're looking across at the other guy now and going, geez, he just flipped a completion flat 20 yards in the grass. Like, you don't have that arm. It's pretty clear. That's fine. We can live with your arm, but you got to get that ball outside. You got single high. The guy's shading him inside. Give your guy a chance to throw it outside.
Yeah.
Whew.
Oh, here comes the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Levis comes right out and spins it. Just like zick. Yeah. That was the no question part of his scouting report was like, yep, he's got
that
all
was the one thing
want.
we were sure about was he's got a gun.
Yeah. You know, I mean, his footwork, it's like young quarterbacks don't watch this because you can't do it.
Yeah.
He is lined up dead down the field. He is basically like at the logo. And he over rotates and basically spins that thing in a 3/4 arm slot, flat 20 yards on the out on a dime.
Honestly, it's like a Baker Mayfield type release because Baker does that too. He over rotates off his plant foot.
And just a shot.
Oh, we got to tighten down. Skaronski? Oh, no, it's Brunskill again. I think it's the second time he's gone down.
Yeah, they've struggled to keep their offensive linemen on the field, much like another team that I root for.
DeMarcus Sanders for $5. Love the pod, guys. Quick question. Do you guys think that if the Saints have another strong game and stat games, Pete can save his job? Referencing Pete Carmichael, the offensive coordinator. You know, a lot of the Saints' offensive problems are pretty similar to the Steelers' offensive problems in terms of how static the offense is. Like, if you're looking at predictable runs on long downs and distances, like the Saints are right there with the Steelers. They're both in the bottom 4. If you're looking at lack of explosive plays, they're right there with the Steelers. If you're looking at lack of motion, they're right there with the Steelers. If Carmichael just starts calling games like what Canada's been calling, well, at least on the first drive of tonight, like, yeah, he could save his job, but he's got to start calling games differently because a lot of the same problems are happening. Oh, Levis.
Okay. That's not a Levis problem.
No, but it's the throwing the ball backwards that's the Levis problem.
Right. No, you know what that play was?
A sack.
No.
What?
You know what that play was supposed to be?
What?
That's McDaniel's shot.
Oh, with the...
Look at him. Look at his eyes. He's looking for Burks. They had Burks on the motion, and they snapped it right as he ran behind the other receiver. They're running Burks on the deep wheel. That's what Levis was looking for. Look at him. He's like, oh, we had him. But the protection didn't hold up. Like, the call was good, but the protection didn't hold up, so the play broke down. It's a sack instead of a really decent percentage shot to Burks free down the boundary. Okay. That's...
I mean, what the
that's
fuck?
Porn. That's football throwing porn right there.
He had like 1 foot on the ground and he threw that.
This is ridiculous. If you want to see what we talk about, we mean arm talent. He has no
out
cleats.
Of here.
He has no cleats in the ground, and he rips, what is that, a 20, 40?
Dude.
That's 25 yards to the sideline on the numbers with no cleats in the ground.
Get the fuck out, man.
Remember, now I'm just going to take you back in the Wayback Machine. You remember when people said, I don't like Will Levis because I think he might be too muscled up?
Yeah, he needs all of it.
Do you remember when that was a thing? Because, geez, those were good times. Oh, all right. I wanted to go back to short rounds question because this is it's in my roundhouse. Yes, I'm going off the short round theme, and it's a great question. I love this. If Levis had gone in the draft last year, is he QB1 and does he end up on the Steelers? And the answer is yes and yes.
He wouldn't have made it to the Steelers.
Pickett was the first quarterback chosen.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying if Levis was coming out in that class, he wouldn't have made it to 22.
Right. A quarterback would have been chosen higher. That's the only thing sort of quote unquote wrong with that hypothetical. But if a quarterback had not been chosen before the Steelers, which is not true,
he would have gone to the Steelers. Yeah,
he would have been, or they would have had to trade up to get him or whatever. But yes, he would have been QB1, and there's at least a chance he could have ended up being, playing in the jersey that Pickett now has. And that would be interesting.
That last year at Kentucky did damage to Levis in terms of draft stock or whatever. Like, it hurt his evaluation. Like,
it also hurt him physically. He played just beat up.
He got beat up. Like, if he came out and that's the thing is he went back because he wanted to be number 1 overall. He didn't want to be a top 15 pick. He wanted to be the top pick, and it ended up hurting him a lot. But
again, his landing spot, and we said this on draft night, this isn't revisionist history. We said that might be the best thing that ever happens to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he needed to go in the second round. After his last year at Kentucky, he did not need to be a top 3 pick. In fact, it would have been detrimental. If he had been a top 3 pick, it just comes with way more spotlight, way more expectation. He would have had to start much, much earlier, which was not good for him. Here, he got to sit for 6 weeks behind Tannehill. All preseason, he was even 3rd on the depth chart behind Malik. Like, everybody kind of just cooled their jets about Levis, and he could just work on his game, and it was up to him to do it. He obviously has done it. Like, he's showing more things in concert than we saw. We saw all those things, just like Brett said. He showed all those things on tape at Kentucky. It's not that any of this one thing is new. The thing that's new is he's welding it together. It's looking smooth and of a piece. He's making the right decision most often. Like, that's new, and he's doing it at a higher level of competition. Again, that's great stuff.
I've been extremely impressed with him so far.
He looks
really good stuff.
Different than he did,
and so different.
And he different in the ways he needed to, which is what you're really hoping for as a Titans fan.
Honestly, you know what it reminds me of? Remember when we saw Brock Purdy at the Shrine Bowl and we're like, no
Yeah.
way, no
Yeah.
way. Like he's not
Yeah.
even gonna make a roster. And then 6 months later, not even 6 months later, I went to training camp and I was like, oh shit, Brock Purdy's looking pretty good. Like it's
He
the
looks
same
really
glow up. It really is.
Oh, look at this. Classic
There
Henry.
goes the king.
Classic Derrick Henry.
The only man to ever glide at 4.4 speed.
Yeah. Well, his legs are so freaking long.
I know.
I mean, he's super tall. He's really high cut. Obviously, tremendously well built. Has been since his time at Alabama. Well, since high school. If you've seen Derrick Henry's high school footage, it's the most
It's
ludicrous
so funny.
football like comedy reel you've ever seen. It just looks like when the mascots go out and beat the hell out of youth football players.
Yes.
That's what it looks like.
Are we gonna get split zone here? The tight end's kind of giving it away.
Oh, I don't love the play call, but I like the result.
Oh no, it's an insert going the other way.
Yeah, they did the short side insert.
They've been using their tight ends slash fullbacks slash H backs, however you want to classify them, in really interesting ways
guys.
in the run games. Like they prioritize kind of using all those guys to give themselves favorable angles on all these zone runs, and it's one of the only things that they were really making work on this offense prior to the Levis era starting.
Okay. Watch Chig on this. No. Yep. They wanted it. The Steelers didn't let them have it.
That was definitely the idea, though, was to get
that
him in
was
the flat.
definitely
Yeah.
the idea. 100% was little like, I'm blocking. No, I'm not. And Steelers are like, yeah, we know he can catch. We're gonna put a guy with him.
It's like, oh, you mean your tight end that runs a 4.5 that we're not gonna forget about?
Oh, Hop throwing up the mailbox. That's the next thing, right? Is the speed, right? His eyes don't come back. He goes to the run. Chig's covered, and he doesn't see D Hop. If he does, that's a touchdown. With his arm talent, easily a touchdown.
Yeah, you could tell his thought was either I throw it to Chig or I take off.
Right, and he's a good runner. He's a powerful guy in his own right. Okay.
Did he get that in?
He absolutely got that in.
He extended
classic.
From the 2?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is classic Derrick Henry. Like, takes a huge shot off balance, which you don't see pretty much in the backfield, and then yoink. Wow, that's great. So look at the initial shot. Like, cuts inside, boom, full on right in the thigh, and then kind of resets and just goes, nope, I got it. Like, that's rare stuff.
Like, honestly, like the fit and the tackle from Quan Alexander was genuinely really good. But
oh yeah,
I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Honestly, if that's Ty J, probably knocks him off his feet. And Ty J's got great contact balance, like one of his best. But like literally, that's a full-on 225, 30-pound linebacker hitting you just below the hip at full go.
I mean, I walk back to the sideline and tell my linebackers coach, like, I did my job. Like, I did the thing.
What do you want? I filled my fit and hit that guy with everything I had. It happens to be Derrick Henry. It wasn't good enough. Like,
that's crazy.
Get mad.
That's why he's one of the only running backs that you can pay and feel good about it, because he's going to do shit like that.
Matthew Wright snuck in a question. Are you saying Levis would be crucified if he was on the Panthers right now? Matthew, that's exactly what I'm saying. He would be getting destroyed in Carolina.
I mean, Bryce Young's been getting crucified. I mean, they won, but before that, Bryce Young was getting crucified in Charlotte. Like, Levis would have been even more so.
He's still taking a fair amount of abuse, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But yeah.
But Bryce did play better. Bryce did play better last week. Looked like there's been genuine progress. I think I'm going to wait a couple weeks before I do an episode on it, because I really want to see if there's like macro differences between what Thomas Brown's doing versus what Frank Reich did. Actually, I think we're getting them on the next Thursday game, aren't we? It's Panthers Bears next week, right?
Hang on. Got the schedule up. Titans Steelers this week. Panthers Bears, indeed. Thursday, November 9th.
Well, that means our old friend's making a return.
Oh, yeah. You use the term friend very loosely.
Frenemy, really.
Frenemy
Frenemy.
is much closer, and we're getting close enough. We're in November at this point. 10 days from now, yes, Sunday, November 12th, I will be at the Commanders Seahawks, and we are going to have a little gathering the night before because the weather can be pretty changeable. Ran a poll and people were like, "I want to tailgate." I was like, "Are you sure?"
In November?
It's November, and yeah, people like, "Oh yeah, maybe the night before thing." So Saturday night, the night before, we will have a gathering somewhere locally, probably a little bit south, down towards the airport, because that's where Brandon Schultz, who runs the Seahawkers podcast, is going to be staying. So we are working on the details. We will release that, but I will be at that game. So if you're there, come on by, say hi. I will try and post a place where I will post up before the game, so I'm a little bit easier to find. And yeah, that's the next NFL game I'll be at. But yeah, we'll get Bears and Panthers. Well, Panthers Bears officially next Thursday night.
Yeah, so I'll be doing a bunch of work on the Panthers offense, at least the one game that we have of the Thomas Brown offense, to get a good idea of what we're going to be looking at. Well, it'll be 2 games by then to get an idea of what we're going to be looking at for for that TNF game, and hopefully we have some takeaways, some actual tangible takeaways of differences and what's the same for that broadcast. And I'll have my little tiny whiteboard by then too.
You'll have your little tiny whiteboard in like 10 minutes. Honestly, if you went downstairs, you'd have it now.
Well, I think my wife is on her way home.
Well, there we go. Man, Montravius Adams, questionable. Cole's obviously out. Nicholas Petitfrere, questionable at the shoulder. Sean Murphy Bunting, strong questionable. I've not seen that before with a thumb. Strong questionable.
I think that's their way of saying he's coming back.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right, Kenny in there again.
All right. Steelers are going to grind a little bit, which I know Steelers fans will not be happy with, but
I think their goal, if I know Matt Canada well, and believe me, I do, their goal is to take up a lot of clock here, going to half, because they're probably doing possession math, and I think they know they probably won't score quickly. So they're going to try to just take all of this clock in one possession and basically go into 4-minute offense and then leave the Titans with nothing, go into halftime at 14-10, try to feel good about that. It's hard. It's honestly hard to execute that because you're like intentionally trying to chew clock and get 4 yards at a time. So you're kind of playing with fire of getting behind. There's the fucking screen on 1st and 10 again.
But it worked.
I know.
I know, but this is the thing about stats, right? You're going to look, they ran 2 screens, and one of them went to Jalen Warren, and one of them went to Deontay. They both worked. What are you grousing about? Oh, the other 25 or 30 that they've run in the past 4 or 5 games that have been absolute losers, like those are the things we're still having PTSD about.
The 8-yard gain is fine, but is it worth the 5-yard loss?
I think that's... All right, you know what I think they should do?
Throw down the field.
10-yard into Pickens. That's, no reason.
Another screen, back-to-back screens.
Well, Deontay is getting his work, which is good to see. He's, outside of Pickett, the most important cog to the Pittsburgh offense. I think that's fair to say. Without him, their game is very, very different. So it's good to see him sort of back at full speed and being featured. For no reason, I would love a number 1 wide receiver on a team that I follow a little bit to be featured. I think it would be cool. I haven't seen it a lot, but no, I think a 10-yard into Pickens would be great.
We're only 11 yards away from Deontay hitting his yardage. We need him to get like 56 or whatever. He's at 46.
I think we'll get there. Canada has not forgotten that he exists.
We're only half a yard away from Pickens hitting. One of these days it'll hit.
That's why I'm saying a nice little 10-yard into George. It's funny when you watch Pickens' releases, and this was something that happened in college as well. If he's not featured,
yeah,
his releases aren't great.
More so, I'm not getting the ball.
Right.
Oh God.
Yeah,
That
what it
was a
is.
brutal slam on
That's a
Kenny.
lot of guys. Yeah, that's a lot of guy landing on top of you with two guys that weigh, 300 pounds basically.
All right, Kenny.
Uh,
They're on the other side of
right. All
midfield.
right. When we're talking about Juice and Jalen Warren, that's what we're talking about.
Okay, the speed at which he and Najee move, like you can see, it's just so different. Like
It's
the
not the
level of
same.
explosiveness, the level of twitch, it's not remotely the same.
Look at the burst. Boom. Through there and
Like if it was up to me, Jalen Warren would be RB1 in Pittsburgh. They're never gonna do it, but if it was up to me, he would be because he's got. It's gonna sound sacrilegious. Austin Eckler vibes to me. He really does.
I don't think it's sacrilegious, but 2 plays in a row.
I mean,
He just
look at
picked up
that.
first
Look at the
down.
bounce.
Yeah.
He's just
what
a
it
better
reminds me of?
player.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? That's maybe, I don't know, more or less sacrilegious, depends on who you are.
Huh.
The combination that Seattle has in K-Walk and Charbonnet, like if you switch that right now, Najee runs a lot more like Charbonnet does.
I can see that.
Big power, breaks
Yeah.
tackles, decent receiver out of the backfield, which Charbonnet is as well. Good blocker, but he's their RB2 because they want Walker's speed and breakaway ability, which is greater than Jalen Warren's. I'm not saying they're the same player, but like Seattle has those roles reversed where they've got the faster slasher as their RB1 and sort of the workhorse as RB2. And the Steelers have that reversed. And you and I would both like to see Jalen Warren ascend to the top spot. Again, Steelers fans, we know it's never going to happen. It's just not how the Steelers roll.
And
but
they
we
agree,
both,
by the way. Like Steelers fans agree with that thought.
Steeler fans, but not the Steelers.
Yeah.
And we both think it would bring flash to the offense that is much needed. It's not just we like this guy better. It's hey, that would be better functionally for you.
Golden Cloud for $5. King Henry got me into football and led me here. Well, we are happy that you were here with us, watching the King do his thing. God, Henry's 8 years in the league now, I think, right? He's been around for a while. I know he's on pace to finish top. If he continues his current pace, he's on pace to finish top 12.
9? Feels like 9. But then again, I'm terrible. I am literally the worst person in the world to ask about that.
I'm going to say it's at least 7. Because
Okay.
there was a couple Dion Lewis years in there, right, where they didn't use him. I'm gonna say at least 7. My guess is 8.
All right, you can look that up.
In fact, check me here.
Yeah, Tim Abbott, EJ, thoughts on the Leonard Williams trade? Love it. Leonard Williams, I think, is underrated. He was what he brings to the Seahawks was a large need. Again, I hate to keep bringing it back to Chicago's dysfunction, but all the things he said in his introduction to Seattle, about what he'd heard about Seattle, about what he's experienced in his very brief time being with Pete, so positive. Just gives you like all the right vibes about what Seattle is as an organization, what players think about playing there, how he was received, how they basically told him what they needed him to do and how that fit with him. And they gave him the why basically of the trade. Like that's the way it should be done. Like I have a lot of respect. Anybody that's followed our work knows that I have a lot of respect for John Schneider. I think he runs things the right way. And I think his process is pretty good. He was off track for a bit, certainly over the past 2.5, 3 years, has solidly gotten back on track. And he never really strayed from that particular piece. That's just so good. That just means the player you're going to get has the best possible chance to succeed, fills a need, is a high-level player, in my opinion, that a lot of people didn't pay enough attention to because he had an absolute super-duper star right next to him. Doesn't mean he's not good, just means that guy's like transcendent and hard not to look at when he's playing football. But I think it's a great move for Seattle. They just did it the right way. I think it's going to pay dividends for them pretty much immediately. Clint Hurt is the defensive coordinator in Seattle. He's got to be super duper excited to have yet another game wrecker on the defensive line. He's got a bunch of young ones. Now he's got one with a little bit more experience that plays closer to the middle. Yeah, it's a plus, plus, plus.
All right. 2-minute warning now over. Steelers in the middle red zone.
Oh.
That counts?
It counts, right?
That's more than half a yard.
Right?
Hold on.
It's more than half a yard. He fumbled, but it still counts, right?
We'll take the production.
Okay, now we just need him to like not lose 5 on a screen.
It only took 28 minutes. There we go. There's the first green. Let's go.
No kidding. I was sweating bullets. I was like, come on, man. It's a half a yard. All right. Huge thanks to Underdog. Wearing their t-shirts tonight for a reason. They have sponsored our podcast for 2 solid years. So we get this year and another year tacked onto our deal, which we're super excited about. They came up with this offer just for us, which is incredible. We reached out and said, hey, is there any way that we could offer something basically just to our listeners and viewers to, bring them on board, give them something to hop on board with. And they were more than happy to do it. They're great to work with, tremendous partners, made this special for us, created the branding. We came up with a promotion to talk about it on the Monday Bootleg Pod. Of course, it was on Brett's Film Room that came out yesterday, obviously leading off the stream. You guys' response has always been tremendous to our sponsors, but in terms of this particular offer, it's been really awesome. So super glad Pickens got a yard.
I cannot believe it took 28 minutes to get 3 yards.
No
That's
kidding. I was like, dude, if you curse this one, I am so done. Oh, anyways, Pickens got his yard. We got a green. Let's go.
Well, we need Pickett.
We're doing all right.
I mean, we're technically on pace. I do think it's going to be a little bit of a nail biter. This feels like a nail biter, but we're on pace. We're on pace.
Don't they all?
I know, constantly. All right, trips to the field. Doing a motion check for man versus zone.
Oh, they're not giving it to him. Hit the ground.
Did it bounce?
I think that everybody said right away. I mean, plus the huge chunk of mud in his face mask. Not that means anything, but yeah. Everybody's saying it bounced.
Did his ball get hit, or did he just leave it short?
He short-armed it. Yeah, he short-armed it.
So
wasn't
that
the
is
greatest.
I mean, it was catchable. It was a tough catch. It's catchable.
Well, right. He would have had to. He couldn't have cradled it. He would have needed to reach. He would have needed to lay out, get his elbows out in front of him, and reach, because that's the only way he's coming away with that ball.
It's a tough one. It's one of those, like, I understand why it didn't get complete, but also, man, they're going to want that one back.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Kenny throw a bit of a different ball. Now, his accuracy and his placement on that ball, which was a much shorter throw than the one we were talking about earlier down the middle, obviously a very different type of throw, but he's much better about those throws in the short to medium area with both accuracy and ball placement. You might say, hey, EJ, those are the same thing. They're actually not. Accuracy is where you are targeting to send the ball and whether or not you can do that. Ball placement is, once it gets there, are you putting it in the best possible place for your receiver to make the catch? And what is, to what degree do you do that on a regular basis? So accuracy and ball placement sound like the same thing. They kind of are, but it's like macro accuracy.
They kind of work together.
Accuracy. Yes.
It's like, is it catchable versus is it catchable in the right spot?
Yeah.
Did
you throw it to where you should have thrown it is the first part. That's like the coarse focus on the microscope. And then you get down to the fine focus of, hey, it would have been better. In that particular case, you did throw it in the right place. It was an accurate throw, but you needed to get that ball up a little bit. It was out in front of him, which is where it needed to be on that particular throw. But if you'd elevated that ball about 3 feet, you would have had a much better chance of catching that. So accuracy, yes, that was an accurate throw. Ball placement could have been better. Wasn't terrible. Still had a chance to get it, but it could have been better. Could have made it easier. Could have made it a higher percentage completion, most likely.
It's one of those, it's the difference between getting 5 yards of yak and 20. Like sometimes it's just
ball placement is yak comes from ball placement.
It's
Like,
the source of yak
yeah,
is ball placement.
100%. If you place the ball well, you get more yak. If you place the ball poorly, you get less or none.
Yeah, or just straight up incomplete.
Yeah, that's the that's the red end of the spectrum. Like, didn't even put it where the guy could haul it in. That's the bad part.
So we're in commercial break right now. So we got 116. How many timeouts do the Titans have? Because if they have at least 2 timeouts, they have time to try to go down and get some points, and then try to do kind of like the double possession thing. Because the Steelers started the game with the ball, so if the Titans have enough timeouts to go down and get a field goal, go into halftime, come back out, get the ball second half, like that's if you can win the middle 4 minutes of the game, that's going to be huge for them, especially on the road against this kind of pass rush. Again, I don't know how many timeouts they have. I have to wait for them to put the scorebook back up.
Everybody's full up.
Oh, they have 3? Oh, yeah, they got it. They got to hit the gas pedal then.
Yeah, they both have 3. So with 1:16 and 3 timeouts, you've got enough game time to take a shot at this. And you got Levis, which means, come on, one play could do it. But
yeah, I would go full Captain Insano mode here and just start pressing down the field.
Well, and the other thing with 3 timeouts, every throw is available. You can throw it right down the middle of the field. You can throw it right on the logo if you want to. Like, go for it. Like, you got a timeout. It's no problem.
Yeah.
You do not have to work the sidelines, which makes it a whole lot harder on the defense because they can't just kind of press the sidelines and leave a big vacuum in the middle of the field. Oh, I like that less. I like that a lot less.
So my guess is they were anticipating a pressure on first down, and I'm wondering if they didn't give him a call that he could get out of it. Because there was not a pressure look pre-snap, and you run that into pressure. So curious.
Okay. Nice job by D-Hop to pick up the first down. It's not super necessary. It's not the biggest impediment here. Time is. But terrible. Oh, yeah.
First time
I
out.
love it. Levis showing the progression, starting at Penn State, moving on to Kentucky.
I completely forgot he was at Penn State.
I did until I got back into his film last year. And one of the first sites I go to where I'm picking up, vitals, height, weight, and stat production, started last year, like lining them up with arrows because we're starting to get into, with the transfer portal and everything else, the era of quarterbacks that have played at 4 schools.
Yeah.
And it is hard to remember maybe what the 4th one was or what the 3rd one was ago. So yeah, I got reminded pretty quickly that he started out at Penn State.
All right, it's cover 2. Cover 2. What do you got?
Yeah. Oh man, Levis to Phillips. I love it.
Throwing the bender against cover 2.
Right?
Like that. The bender to the field, by the way. This is a far hash throw.
Yeah, look at how flat that ball is. It never gets more than like 12 feet off the ground.
Bro. So Trevor Lawrence hit that same throw last week, and it's such a fuck you throw to the safety.
Yeah. It's like, you never have to defend this one. Oh, sorry. I've got the arm to do it. Forgot to tell you. Dude, he didn't even have his back foot down. Man, he literally didn't drive that off the back foot. He like lifted his foot and went, I'm taking a little off.
I know. He's got that Rodgers flick, man.
Yeah. His arm is fully ridiculous. And when the sights are good, look out.
That's the thing, is like,
he's looking for it all. He got it.
Again, he doesn't even have to load. And it's still just
waiting.
Ugh.
He's just hanging out. He's like this guy, the guy that used to play pickup like this.
Dude.
And just anytime, I'm just gonna Oh, I'm so happy. Side note, so happy to see Kyle Phillips ripping people apart. We knew he was going to do it when we saw him at Shrine Bowl. He got hurt last year after a really hot start, couple of games, really hot start for Kyle Phillips. And then he got hurt. He was out the rest of the year. Super excited that now the Titans have the quarterback talent to leverage his abilities because he's got a lot of abilities as a wide receiver 3. Oh, he's open on that one, but they don't want it. Levis could have hit him.
Yeah, well, with one timeout, I think what they're worried about is
Oh, I get it.
is time, right? Because it's
Yep.
1st and 10, high red zone.
Yep. Take some shots, get to the end zone. And they are letting Hopkins and the corners go at it. Like, they're,
I mean,
they're
Joey's giving it to him. Joey's giving it
and
to him.
Hop's giving it right back. And Hop is used to being able to give it back and get the call, and he's giving it back and not getting the call, and it's frustrating him right now.
I'd leave Joey on Hopkins and man all night long.
If he plays reps like that and they're calling it like that, yeah, you're insulated. Oh no! Oh, it's Ty J. Oh.
Inches. That's not on Levis. That's not on Levis.
He turned around and stopped, and then he tried to accelerate going backwards instead of turning back around and kind of playing that over the shoulder. And I get it. It's he'd stopped, he'd slipped, he got bounced, and he thought he had it. Levis, just when he let that go, he thought that he was just going to kind of keep running, and that ball would have been right on him. It was thrown with touch. It's not a bad toss.
Man. All right.
Yeah, whoever said that the Titans offense is watchable again, yeah, that was the same sentiment that Brett and I had going back and forth in DMs last week. We're like, dude, this totally changes our opinion of every Titans game going forward.
The franchise looks entirely different. I promise you.
100%.
I promise you, if they didn't trade Byard when they did, and then the Levis game happened with Atlanta, they wouldn't have traded Byard.
No,
I promise you, they wouldn't have traded Byard.
Nope.
Like that you could tell there was a seismic shift in the organization where they're like, hold on, we think this what?
Because all the things we were planning might work.
Well, they clearly didn't know, because if they knew this was what was going to be on the field, they would have made that move a long time ago. Yeah. Like, I don't even think the Titans knew that this was going to happen.
You know what I think Vrabel's saying to Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator, right there?
What?
We got this guy, Derrick Henry, like, good player.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It's a very Vrabel thing to be like, it's cool that the rookie can throw it and all, but, let's not forget, shall we?
I will say, again, that's what they were hoping for. You get a field goal, you're getting the ball back to start the second half. Very possible if you win this middle 10% slice of the game, it's like a 10-point swing potentially there. So they have an opportunity to go up 20-10 coming out for the second half.
And so far, Levis looks like he is continuing what he started last week. He's shown, hopefully we've highlighted a lot of high-level quarterback traits that are super necessary for rookie development to play well in the league. And he's not looking shook against what I would call a far superior defense with or without Minkah. Certainly the pass rush is much better in Pittsburgh than it is even in Atlanta. They have a good pass rush. Pittsburgh's got a great pass rush. If you're a Titans fan, you just got to quietly be rubbing your hands, because for the last 2 years, we kind of pumped up their acquisitions and like, oh, we love Chig and we love Kyle Phillips and like D-Hop going back. Yeah, but we're not sure if Tannehill can make that work. He made it work a couple of times, but Levis comes out last week. And again, the overall outlook, we love their defensive line. Again, I'm with you. I don't think Byard leaves town if the Levis game happens first. They could use a little bit of help at outside corner, but that's a lot of teams. Other than that, they got Ty J to succeed Derrick Henry, and whenever those wheels fall off, if they ever do, who knows? Derrick Henry might be the second coming of Frank Gore, might be a while. But like, this all of a sudden is a fun team, and it wasn't a month ago. And that is the power of hitting on a young quarterback.
So I'm doing a halftime entry right now. Levis at 250.5. Right now he's at 153, so we need to get like 98 in the second half. That seems amenable to me. Tajay, let's go. So we'll put in a D Hop there as well. Kenny Pickett, half a passing touchdown. Yeah, let's go with Kenny with a passing touchdown, and then can we do Jalen Warren anything?
Give me Jalen Warren, whatever you've got.
Literally Jalen Warren anything. He's at
You're
38.
You're the last minute Christmas shopper. What do you have left?
George Pickens, 24.5 receiving. He's currently at 2. We'll take that. We'll just do the Pickens theme tonight. And you know what? I feel comfortable with that. We'll just do a 4-banger for the live in the second half.
Okay, I'm actually gonna go upstairs and pour myself a whiskey because I'm having a good time. This is
and when you get back, I believe I have a whiteboard waiting for me in the kitchen. So.
Oh, in the kitchen?
Yeah.
All the way in the kitchen?
I know, the 10 steps away. So when you get
back,
it's
going to take you like... Anyways, if you want to run to get the whiteboard first, go ahead.
I'll do that. Let me throw the link in the chat for people that want to tail for the in-game slip or in-game entry. And then I'll go grab my whiteboard. And I'll leave it on screen.
Don't forget that if you use code BOOTLEG, Underdog will match your initial deposit up to $500. So if you throw in 100, you're getting a free 100. You throw in a couple hundred more is coming your way. And if you are a new subscriber, we are going to try and keep bringing up more offers from Underdog to entice people to join us and play along because we think it's a lot of fun. And we are really excited that they're great partners. They're a lot of fun to work with. They believe in the product that we're putting out very strongly. They believe in all of you, or they wouldn't have sponsored us, because vendors and sponsors believe in our audience much more strongly than they believe in us. And they believe in all of you and how you react to all of our work. That's why they came to us in the first place. And they've been thrilled with all the growth that occurred over summer and since the beginning of the season as well. So big shout out to everybody at Underdog. Love those folks. They're doing a great job. They're supporting us and you're supporting them. And that means it can keep working.
I lied. Nikki's not home yet, so I don't have a whiteboard yet.
All right. Well, my whiskey is in the kitchen. I can guarantee it. So I'm going to go get some of that. And I will be back before you know it.
And in the meantime, I will answer questions from chat.
There you
are. Did you already... Well, he's gone. I don't know if he answered Louise's.
He's not gone. Did I answer Luis's? I don't believe so. He's talking about the difference between head coach and offensive coordinator?
Yeah. I'll take that. You go grab your whiskey.
And Hop Hayes above that, thoughts on Corey Trice. So get both of those, and I'll be right back.
Cool. We'll start with Hop Hayes. We'll go in what's the chronological order. Thoughts on how a Corey Trice would affect the Steelers defense if he was healthy. #FireCanada. #BoilerUp. Trice, very good press man corner prospect for a team that is super duper man heavy, particularly with press man in high leverage situations. So like third and medium and first and 10 play a lot of press man coverage. So he fit their system in a very similar way to how Joey Porter Jr. fits it. So looking at Steelers corners, sans Joey Porter, that, you know, it's a bunch of big burly guys that are really good at disrupting receivers at the line of scrimmage, but they're not very good at running with receivers down the field other than Joey. You know, Peterson doesn't quite have that gas anymore. And so what Trice would have given them is obviously the size and the physicality, but also the burst to run with guys vertically down the field. And that's why I was so excited about him, is because he had, you know, every measurable that you wanted. What he didn't have was a medical report that you wanted. And that's why he fell in the first place, was because of his knee, among other things. Medically, like character is totally fine. It was pure medical. And then, of course, he got hurt in camp. But before that, he was looking awesome. And it's very possible that he could have earned a pretty decent number of snaps here, even as a 7th-round rookie, because that's how good he looked in camp. But he's a perfect system fit, and I have high hopes that he's going to come back next year and, you know, come back from injury once again and return to form, because if he does, they got a really good player. And then Luis Felipe for 5. Guys, how can we evaluate the head coaching job compared to the offensive coordinator's job? E.g., the OC runs the offense, not the head coach. Sometimes it's clear, but not always. So it depends on the team. There are teams where the head coach is also the play caller, and where the offensive coordinator is basically in charge of putting together a game plan, running install, working with the offensive line coach generally for, the types of runs that they want to run that week, based on the fronts that they think that they're going to get from the defense. But it's a very game plan oriented role. It's everything that the OC does, just without the play calling component, right? But for a team where the head coach is not the play caller, then the OC does everything. So it really just depends on which team. Like Sean McVay, obviously, he has an offensive coordinator who takes the lead on game plans and installs and everything like that. But like Sean's on game day, like Sean's driving the bus and it's his offense. You compare that to D'Amico in Houston, and it's Bobby Slowick's offense. He drives the bus. He does all the installs. He does all the game planning. D'Amico leaves that to him, right? So it just depends on the team. Man is using vowels. That's funny. All right, I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any questions here. Hey, Brett, talked to you at the Grossi meetup for a bit. How are you doing? I'm doing okay. Nice to see you again, by the way. Pittsburgh is a great town. I just happened to be out there the same weekend in Pittsburgh when Tom Grossi was out there for his 30 and 30. And when he was stopping through Pittsburgh, I was in town that weekend for a Paramore concert. Because I could have very easily seen Paramore in LA, but our friends were going to the one in Pittsburgh because they're Pittsburghers, and so they were going to see family and also catch a Paramore concert. And they like half jokingly asked me and my wife, hey, do you guys want to go see Paramore with us? And we said, sure. And they're like, wait, really? You'd fly all the way to Pittsburgh from LA to see a concert? We said, yeah, we'll go. So we flew out there, spent probably 3 or 4 days in Western PA, went to the concert, had a great time. Haley Williams is a goddess, and they put on a great show. Had excellent Italian food. Saw Pittsburgh in the summer, which is the first time I've ever seen Pittsburgh in the summer, and it's gorgeous out there. Had a great time. And, of course, Tom was in town, so I went to the Tom Grossi meetup and, hung out with him a little bit. Met some other people, obviously, that happened to also be in the little middle part of the Venn diagram that follow Tom and follow me, so that was fun, too. It's a great weekend. Great town. Can't wait to go back. Also went to Weigel Whiskey, distillery out there on the Strip, and brought home 3 bottles. That's the one that I was drinking in the Pittsburgh episode. It was from that trip. You said in the Steelers vid that the Steelers ran the ball second most on second and long. Were the Texans first? I don't know if the Texans were first, but they were definitely top 4. I'm trying to remember their exact place on the list. They were up there, though. Like, they do that a lot as well. And it's one of my only real criticisms with Bobby Slowick is that, like, the Dameon Pierce runs will continue until morale improves, like, even against looks that you really shouldn't be running into. That's, like, the one thing I have a problem with Bobby. But Bobby's, like, much better in terms of using motion at the snap, scheming up explosive plays over the middle on early downs. It's just the 2nd and 8 Dameon Pierce runs that I get annoyed at. But they were up there for sure. Welcome back, EJ.
Thank you. I have Hudson Bright Lights Big Bourbon, and it's in my Belknap Hot Springs glass, which is a great natural hot springs down in Oregon. For those of you that might be familiar with the Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. Yeah, that's good. Will Gallo for $2. Wish underdog was in Michigan, but I will tail in spirit. Slowly but
Well,
surely. Slowly but
we
surely.
appreciate that. I wish very much that they were in my home state too. So yeah, fun fact, I don't get to make my own rosters. I just get to comment on other people's rosters. But yeah, like you said, slowly but surely.
That's why I pick kickers against EJ's will, because there's nothing he can do about it.
That's right. I cannot oppose. Uh, Not until like we end up in other states, but we're always so freaking busy when that happens. Like I believe it's well, I obviously filmed the whole summer series in California and we kept saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to do doubles. We're going to do doubles." And then we got really busy doing other things and didn't do it. I know it's not Nevada. I think they're okay in Texas, and we've spent some time in Texas over the past couple of years. So every time we're on the road, we're like, "We're going to do it." And we don't. So
Yeah,
soon enough.
when we go to Super Bowl, I'm curious to see how we're going to handle that because it's not in Nevada.
Yeah, I knew they're not in
Because
Nevada.
because all of the established services in Nevada are fighting very hard against underdog being in Nevada. So that's been a source of consternation.
Yes,
I
dude.
don't know. Maybe we'll have to fill everything out from California and then go over.
Run the border.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Because normally they do a big old Super Bowl house and they get a bunch of creators there and all the underdog staff is there and everybody hangs out and we just, have basically just a big old football party for like a whole week, right? And Liz,
Yeah.
who is an underdog and basically runs the company, she's like the big wig there. She when I was in New York in August for a week doing work stuff out there, I happened to meet up with her and we were talking. I was like, "So what's your plan for Super Bowl?" And we're figuring it out. I was like, "So we don't know yet." She's like, "We're figuring it out." Okay.
That's right. But just to be clear, we will be there.
We will be
Whatever the
there.
plan is. We're not sure what that plan will be, but we will be there and enjoying it all the while. So that'll be new for us this year. Obviously, Brett was there last year. I was holding down the home front. We will both be there this year. And really, I'm kind of more interested what's going to happen in the time between Shrine, which is in Frisco, Texas. For those of you that don't know, Shrine Bowl will be at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility called the Star in Frisco, Texas this year. So
I'm
we
super
won't be in
excited for that,
Vegas.
by the way.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to be doing and creating some fun stuff from there, as we always do. But then there's that gap, week or 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
So the game is like the week of the conference championship, so there's like a 10-day gap ish.
Yeah, almost 2 weeks. So what we're going to do between the actual Shrine Bowl game and then working our way over to Vegas for the Super Bowl, I got some ideas for that. So
Road trip.
Yeah, kind of.
Honestly, I just want to find a way to swing down to Waco to go to Balcones, but that's like 2 hours away. So
That's not. Yeah, that's the first morning of the road trip, man. That doesn't take very
go
long.
south and then go north. Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
All right. So Titans back on the field. It's gonna be 2nd and 10.
Or maybe 3rd and 8 if it's, a different part of the stream.
Did I miss a play entirely? Maybe. Oh, it is 3rd and 8. I think I missed a play.
Okay.
Well, apparently it doesn't matter because Patrick Peterson decided to be 24 again.
Yep.
So that's a very, very difficult throw to make. An outbreaker from the far hash against a man corner. And not only a man corner, but a man corner that's seen
one of the
a million out routes from the far hash. Like
one, yeah.
And here's the thing. He had a safety directly over the top, so you saw him slip into a low shoulder position. Like he was not playing top down as if he was supposed to be playing a fade. If it was a single high safety look, he was going to play that top down because you have to stop the slot fade against Hopkins first and foremost. He had a safety over the top, so he played it low shoulder, and so you saw he just kind of slipped under the hip. Like Honestly, Levis probably shouldn't have thrown that just based on where the safety was, because based on where the safety is, you can anticipate what the technique of the DB is going to be. And again, far hash out route against a corner playing low shoulder is a recipe for disaster. But he's a rookie. He'll learn from that. That's the goal.
You saw Peterson drop into that sort of low trail technique, and just his eyes were directly on the hips of the receiver.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Yep, I'm right here. You're right here. Nothing, nothing big's gonna happen." And made a great play on the ball, which we've seen him do literally hundreds of times over his career. Did you get to DeMarcus Sanders? Do you think Ronald Curry, QB coach for the Saints, gets an opportunity to call plays?
If Pete gets fired,
right. Or if they sort of get fed up with it. But yeah, I would agree. Only if Pete gets fired because of Pete's tenure. Was it 17 years now?
He's been there forever.
It's that's like 16 or 17 consecutive years.
But that was one of the selling points, was like, oh, he spent so much time with Sean, he's just going to call the offense like Sean, and he doesn't call the offense like Sean. So
yeah. Yeah. So I would agree. Okay.
Really, really nice outside zone call there. First explosive run for Najee of the night. And the thing that I struggle with when it comes to the Steelers' run game is a lot of people. Well, I shouldn't say I struggle when it comes to the Steelers' run game. I struggle with the discourse around the Steelers' run game, because a lot of people are really fed up with all the outside zone stuff, because they say, our offensive line isn't athletic enough to do that. We should be doing more gap scheme based on the offensive linemen we have, which I kind of disagree with that point to begin with. But B, with how Najee is built, you need to do outside zone with Najee, because he's not a stop-start guy. It's very much a Derrick Henry, like, needs to be up at speed, and then you bend into the cutback, like not slamming on the brakes and cutting all the way back like we saw Tyjae Spears do earlier tonight. Like, Najee is not a cutter, he's a bender, and so you have to run outside zone with Najee, because that's like the one way that you can get him into that seam at full speed, right? So I disagree with the notion that they should just be a gap scheme team, because if you're a gap scheme team, then you should not give a single carry to Najee Harris. Like, that's not what he does. Like, it should just be the Jalen Warren show if that's what you want it to be. So that's my issue with the discourse around the Steelers run game. Like, you could be dissatisfied with it, but the one thing I agree with Canada is leaning into outside zone with Najee. Like, that's what you have to do, in my opinion. Nick Urbaszewski, I believe I pronounced that correctly. Sounds Polish. I believe it's Polish. Let me know if it's not Polish. Wasn't able to use the Pickens promotion, but we're here for the second half. Hope that you got in on that one when I linked it. I think I linked it in chat. Hope I did. Either way, we're looking decent.
Oh. Man.
Now I'm upset that I didn't do the Najee receiving, because his was at like 3 yards receiving or something like that.
It's always the ones you don't do.
I know. Christopher Cosmato for $1 and a hot dog. Thank you. Very much appreciate that, Chris.
I was watching another creator on YouTube last week, and they have a pizza button. Not that I want a pizza button, but I thought it was really cool. They have a pizza button.
Can we get a whiskey button?
Yeah,
that's what I want.
We totally can. He's like, right there, it's the pizza button. You just press that, and then we can buy a pizza. And I was like, all right, that's cool. I don't want a pizza, but a whiskey button sounds real good.
Ooh, really nice pocket movement from Kenny. Obviously, it's an incomplete pass, but so if you saw Kenny, how he drifted back, felt the edge was coming around behind him, so he stepped up, but he didn't step up too far into the pressure, and he kind of had that internal clock of like, okay, I'm in this tiny little window where I'm deep enough to not get crushed by the interior pressure, but I'm shallow enough so that my tackle is a decent angle to ride the guy behind the pocket. You basically have like a third of a second to kind of sit there in that little safe space. Clock ran out, got it out to Najee. Obviously didn't complete the catch, but that's really, really good pocket work from Pickett there.
Jalen Warren on the most recent run. Titans are blitzing their way to the run fit. They bring 5. They're basically filling gaps and coming downhill hard. Warren should have had nothing based on the alignment of the run versus the run fit with blitz. Patience, sidestep, ends up picking up only like 2 or 3 yards, which is again not going to show up on the stat sheet, but like that was a tremendously good run from Jalen Warren to get anything against a run blitz. Oh,
Really nice ball.
better defense though.
Oh no, I that's the thing is like you can have a great ball and just a great DB play too. Like
Yep.
I think both things are possible, but that was a really nice ball. Just an even better play.
Flag. I guess not. They didn't agree with you.
They called contact on that?
Yeah, they called Elijah Molden. So Elijah Molden, defensive back out of Washington, guy we liked a lot. I don't know. That's pretty soft.
That's ticky tack. Like, what do you want him to do?
Yeah, he did touch him, but it didn't really feel like he impeded him ever. Didn't grab jersey.
No.
Didn't have his hip. Like, I don't know. And then, fun fact, Terrell Edmonds is the safety that almost got his hands on that.
I thought Terrell Edmonds, is he starting for them?
He was on the field for that one. That was him. That almost got his hands off the tip.
I didn't realize he was starting for them already. I mean, this is technically a revenge game for him, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that for next Thursday's game. Do we consider that a DJ Moore revenge game? Because he got traded. Like, it doesn't feel like a revenge game.
If we know anything about professional athletes, they'll work up a reason for anything to be revenge. So
they will work themselves into a lather for no particular reason at all.
They didn't believe in me. It's like, DJ, they gave you a gigantic contract. No, they didn't believe in me.
All right, Darnell Washington sighting. I'm all for it. He is such a tank.
6'7", 265.
Yeah. And knows how to use it. There are guys that big that are just soft as Charmin when it comes to blocking. That is not Washington. He's on the other end of the scale.
How is Bootleg the only podcast not sponsored by Manscaped? Oh, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we have done Manscaped ads. We've done plenty of them.
I'm gonna say we have weekly Manscaped podcast ads that come around at least 3 or 4 times a year. They're one of our oldest sponsors, actually.
I think they were our first one.
Yeah, I think they were our first weekly podcast sponsor that certainly bought more than 1 week. But yeah, Brett and I are well supplied with Manscaped trimmers, lotions.
They sponsored the draft stream this year.
Yep.
We have deep ties to Manscaped. We owe a lot to Manscaped. They were one of the first companies to ever believe in us.
Yeah, way before they should have, based on numbers.
Way before they should have.
not in terms of content or quality or anything else, but in terms of just pure numbers and what we could return to them, they absolutely did us a favor very early in the history of this podcast. Like, yes, one of our very first sponsors. So.
Real ones remember the ball mascara talk. Exactly. That's how I know you were there on draft day.
Indeed, Zach, indeed. I was trying to forget, but now that you've reminded me, I'll drink to forget the ball mascara talk.
Speaking of, I ran out of my cocktail, so I switched to coffee. What?
How are you tying that to ball mascara? Because it ain't good no matter which way you do it.
I don't have to explain my brain to you.
No, you actually don't, which is a completely.
It's actually it's you don't want me to explain my brain to you.
I'm fully aware of the internal workings of your brain after 3.5 years. I get that question a lot, as you might imagine. So what's it like working with Brett? I'm like, how long do you have? Like, there's a lot of good stuff, and then there's a lot of other stuff.
Have you ever met somebody who's both like 11 and 45 at the same time? Like, that's Brett.
Sure. I mean, I'm kind of that guy, except maybe not 45. I wish I could claim to be that mentally old sometimes.
It's just it's the distracted by shiny lights part of my personality that
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and the rabbit
He's not.
holes and
He's
the
not kidding.
and then the
Rabbit rabbit holes are both guilty of the shiny. That's you. You got the shiny on lockdown.
every once in a while, my wife will come home and she's like, "What'd you do all day?" And I was like, "I had a manic cleaning day." She's like, "Oh, again?" And I was like, "Yeah, again."
Again.
And she's like, "What are you stressed about?" I'm like, "Everything."
Yes.
Anyway, I'm
All of
gonna
it.
go
All of the
scrub the
things.
baseboards now. Thank you.
Yes. I need to not do what I'm supposed to be doing. I need to do the other thing.
It's like I should be doing a Dolphins film room, but I really need to scrub the grout in the shower. So I'm gonna do that first.
Off we go. Oh, oh, and they almost get an explosive off that to Austin. Like Calvin Austin being part of this offense, regardless of how Matt Canada's calling it, is one of my favorite things that's slowly developing this season. It's not like it's been a huge burst of Calvin Austin, but the fact that they're using him at all, I'm here for it. Really liked him coming out of college. Thought he was a lot of fun.
His
Thought he
yards
would
per
add
touch are really
element.
high too.
Oh, did you see the Pickens block? Like one of the great joys of scouting George Pickens film is that he freaking destroys people on blocks. Like doesn't just hit them, push them out of the way, make contact. He freaking levels guys, decleats them left and right. Um, got thrown out of a game for blocking / fighting in college.
Well, he blocked a dude's head into the wall, so yeah, we can call it a block.
It was a block until it was a fight, and then it became a fight, and then he got kicked out. Whatever. Like people are like, you mean targeting? And I'm like, oh no, no. I mean something much more personal than that. George Pickens' blocking abilities are a lot of fun to scout. Let's just put it that way. He had a great block on that
Yeah,
end around by Austin.
he's got Mike Evans energy when it comes to the run game, and I mean that in a compliment. Oh, there's my
Well,
lovely Jalen
honestly,
Warren receiving.
if you're gonna keep it team specific, he's got Hines Ward energy.
Ooh, actually, not a bad pull. It's a pretty good pull. I mean, he won't like decleat somebody on the run like Hines did, because Hines was a psychopath. But blocking at the point of attack, yeah, I can see that. All right, I have started Pickens in 2 fantasy leagues, so I would really appreciate a touchdown here. You got to look for a slot fade if you want it. There it is. What a call! What a call!
That's kind of the opposite. Like you said, like I'm ahead of you in the feed, so I tried not to go super crazy. But like you're like, I could use a slot fade for touch. I'm like, you did it.
I mean,
The thing.
anytime Pickens is on the line of scrimmage in the slot with no safety over the top, it should just be an automatic slot fade.
Well, I understand that, but this is you and the curse and the thing happening as you're saying it. Like,
did he not get
Yeah.
2 feet in?
he did not. They should. Red
Come
flag
on!
that. The progressive replay is coming.
Fuck!
Oh yeah. Whoop. That is a college touchdown. That is not an NFL touchdown.
Man. Come on, George. Whatever. Run it again.
Just
What
go
are they
right
going to
back
do?
it.
Stop it? No.
Yeah, run it back.
That's crazy. Never cursed somebody after a play happened before.
That's not true.
I'm just saying. He was in, and then I celebrated, and then he
I
was out.
celebrated too. It's both of us. We're cool. All right, give me the connection between Hines Ward and George Pickens.
Like, beyond just both playing for the Steelers? Like, are we going for a bacon number here?
Well, not exactly. Come
Well,
on, chat. You got this, chat. I know you've got
connection between George Pickens and Hines Ward.
this. Mm-hmm.
They didn't go to the same school. I don't think they're from the same area. Are they? I got nothing. What is
Come
it?
on, chat. Come on, chat. They're both Bulldogs.
Hines went to Georgia?
Yes, he did. Absolutely.
Why did I think he went to App State? Hold on.
No. Hines Ward is a Georgia Bulldog.
I believe you, but I
You
had an
could.
entirely different school in my head. Son of a bitch,
Yeah,
he
no,
did go
that-
to Georgia. What Steelers receiver went to App State? That's gonna ruin me.
Okay, you're gonna have to go searching for that one.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. to find,
Remember,
but-
we talked about rabbit
Um,
holes. That's gonna be a
All
rabbit
right,
hole. I
there we
on
go,
tonight.
chat. All right, Benjamin Art, Aretz, Georgia, Tyler Rogers, Georgia. There we go. Wade Knoll, Georgia. You guys are all on the right track, indeed. They're both Georgia Bulldogs, and they both block like demons. Other fun fact about Hines Ward for the younger viewers in the chat who have no idea that we're talking about a former Pittsburgh wide receiver. What was his position before wide receiver?
He's a quarterback, I think, right?
Correct. He was
Yeah.
quarterback. Nailed it. Nice.
So
One for
that
two ain't
part I
bad.
got right, but not his
One
school.
for two ain't bad. I'm all right with that.
I'm gonna be furiously googling App State receivers
I was
tonight,
gonna
just so
say,
you know. It's gonna
I-
be like 11:30 at night.
And you thought I didn't know your brain. I was like, oh, that's gonna plague him. He's not gonna be able to get rid of that.
Should be studying Bryce Young, but nope. Googling old Steelers receivers.
Yeah. All you gotta do is you got the AI now. All you gotta do is ask the AI.
All right.
I
see what we
must
got
say
coming
that
out of the commercial. What?
I prefer that trend of being able to ask regularly worded questions of various NFL AI sources and get reasonably good data about half the time. More complicated questions certainly than you could even ask like last year. Like, I don't know, like what's Tennessee's success rate on third down? And like that actually pops up now and again. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Used to have to spend like 90 minutes digging to figure that out and calculate the whole thing.
The availability of not just like baseline stats, but like advanced metrics now is so game changing. Like I remember when I started out doing content creation 2015, I think it was like spring 2015. Like you couldn't find anything. Like you could find like the base level stuff on ESPN. You couldn't find pass rush win rate. You couldn't find like
you couldn't even find snap count. Like the one that I struggled with, like even up to like 4 years ago, was snap count. Like snap count was legit hard to find, and people are like, how many snaps did he get? And I'm like, I don't have time to watch the all 22, which I didn't have at that point, and like literally count the number of times that 90's in there. Like I don't know. I just couldn't answer that question. Now it's like, that's easy. Here you go.
Yeah. All 22 wasn't even public until 2013, and it wasn't even HD until like 2016.
No, and I didn't have access to it until 3 years ago, 3.5 ish.
Yeah. It's crazy how far we've come.
Yeah, in a fairly short period of time, but it makes better content. A lot of the content that you all know and love from Bootleg, not possible without that increase in the availability of stats, the availability of all 22, the speed of that, the fact that we're doing a recap pod on Monday morning and we have 90% of that stuff is even from last year. Like there was the, drumming your fingers on the desk, waiting for the all 22. It's Wednesday. What are we doing here? Like,
dude, we get it 5 hours after the game now.
Yeah.
Well, at least from where we get it 5 hours. But like we pull it up on Sunday evening, so I'm watching film from the 10 a.m. games midway through Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I can pull up advanced stats from Sunday's games at like 11 o'clock at night on Sunday, and typically do as I'm sitting there writing the agenda.
Oh God, that knee is gone.
What, 71?
Did you see that?
He's walking off the field.
His knee got
Dillard?
caved in from the side. Yeah, he might be walking, but that's a bad one. That's a real bad. I know he's walking. Like I understand that.
Without assistance.
That shit.
Maybe he's one of those guys that doesn't need an ACL.
That bent, man. That bent.
That I did not watch, and I'm quite happy about that because there are certain things you can't unsee. Okay, Levis unleashes one. You catch it? No.
Tough ball. Tough ball to come back to
It,
that.
it is a tough ball.
He was under pressure,
However,
but
we need to say 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 3 weeks ago, we would have said, nah. Like, even as bad as the Steelers are, I really don't think the Titans have a chance in this one. Oh, he's so close to catching that. Anyways, here we are, tied up. 5 minutes to go in third quarter. And honestly, if it comes down to flinging it deep at the end, I'm sorry, advantage Titans.
yeah. Like they upgraded from a super soaker to a full-on bazooka. 3rd and 6, Joey versus Hopkins in press outside, no help.
Nobody's. Oh, he turned the wrong way. Oh, he turned the wrong way. It's a rookie mistake. Like, he thought it was the right thing to do, but that was one of the first bad decisions he's made about pocket movement.
I think they got bailed out by a penalty, though.
They did, but that was a negative. That's a net negative, and it is on Levis regardless of the penalty status. Like, he made that worse. The entire right side was open. If he'd spun the other way, he picks that up with his legs without breaking a sweat. Oh, Peterson gets illegal contact on the field. Second time tonight, I think. Okay. All right. You can't tackle him. Come on, Pat.
Remember what we said. Peterson plays ultra physical because they're not going to flag him 50 times a game, but they will flag him twice.
Yeah, easily. Like that. Come on. He just went straight into a blocking pose at 2 yards and rode him to 7. Like, he can't. Yeah, I can't do that, Pat. Oh. We are
Look at that read.
We are almost to the tipping point, Brett. I remember the tipping point for the first game you came to see in Lumen Field.
Oh, yeah. Remember the start of the fourth quarter is when it was Henry time.
Right.
Look at this little and then back to the front side. God, that's 100%. Such a good run.
Yeah. And I know that the narrative about, running backs can excel immediately because it's an easier position. Like, and it's just more based on athleticism, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you still have to be really good. And both of their backs, I don't want to say strangely because they kind of have a type, although they're very different physically. Both of their backs are really good at that skill. Like, both of their backs have very good eyes and understand how to press a crease, how to wait. Like,
Dillard's back on the field.
I told you,
dude.
His knee, ankle, not his knee.
No, his knee was fucking pulled pork with how it got hit. Like, how is this physically possible?
I didn't look, so you tell me. Because I tend not to watch those things if I can, because I've seen plenty of that stuff in person and don't need any more of it in my brain. Oh, Levis, no!
I can't believe that worked. How did that work?
No.
How did that work?
It so worked.
How did that work?
That should not have worked.
Dude.
Yeah, everybody's like, what?
Come on.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, it's ugly, it's nuts. Yes, it is ugly and nuts, but that's what quarterbacks do. Like, that's what good quarterbacks do, is they make plays that don't make any sense like that. That play makes no sense. Should not have worked. You're all correct. Absolute zero. Ends up being like, what, a 20-something yard gain?
That's insane.
You see guys with that, it's hard to call it an ability. It's like a combination of abilities. Just absolutely at the last minute, and I mean the last minute, like as the linebacker is impacting their chest, let it go. Bryce Young was like that at Alabama. He had so many plays that occurred like really late in the down, like late in the down, like right as he was getting mowed over. And didn't see a ton of that from Levis at Kentucky, but that is carbon copy, like final year of Bryce Young at Alabama, like, oh yeah, I'm going backwards. I'll throw it to my, all pro running back, and he'll go like 20 yards.
This game has been so entertaining. Like, this might be the best TNF game we've had this year. I'm not going to lie. Even though it's 13-13, like, this has been the best game.
It's really solid. And here we are again, 142 to go in the third quarter. And this is like riveting football. It's 13-13, both sides making plays. Like a young quarterback kind of coming into his own as we get to watch. Like, all right, like this is great.
On the road at night. Like, it's such a tough place to play, too.
Oh, that's the fun part.
Just, I mean, look at all those towels going. Like, when you see that in person, it's so intimidating.
You see the arm angle on this? That last throw to the side, he just like, just like sidearm that out there, like 18 yards. And I don't mean 18 yards down the field. I mean 18 yards, air yards in terms of side to side. Oh, nope. Steelers defense got that one.
Yeah, they red screen all the way. Anytime you see not one but two interior defensive linemen look like they're like the little Tron motorcycles where they're going forward and then immediately go 90, like you're fucked. Like the play's over.
Well, Cam Hayward, extremely smart, and he is on this one. He just turns off, and he's got a lot of help. But
God, look at the pursuit.
Yep. No, it's immediate.
Also, great to see Cam Hayward back. By the way,
this is my small tier for Larry Ogunjobi not being a Bear.
Something medical issue.
No, I just that's my butterfly flaps its wings in Japan and a typhoon wipes out Florida moment.
Yeah.
Like, was the first signing of the Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus era. It was the key position in Matt Eberflus's defense. They need an attacking 3-tech. It was all lined up. They wanted that, and then the medical staff was like, I don't know, and suddenly everything went wrong. From that point on, it's been kind of a rolling shit show. Yeah. Anyways,
Twin asked in the chat, how can towels be intimidating? Trust me. Go to a night game in Pittsburgh, especially the drive after Renegade. It's so different. It's so different.
Or a whiteout game in College Station.
Equally nuts.
Also Pennsylvania. Also holy cow, are we getting out of here?
Pennsylvania people love football. People always say oh, the South is where football, reigns supreme. Pennsylvania, I'd put up with any other state. They are rabid out there.
Yeah. Fun fact.
West and East side.
Fun fact.
What?
Born in Pennsylvania.
You were? Well, I bet from the town that you grew up in New York, that was probably the closest hospital.
It was the closest.
It's like one
hospital
stoplight.
That did anything with children. It's 40 minminutes away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's across the border.
Yeah, because you were. I wouldn't consider you weren't Western New York. You weren't upstate New York. You were just.
No, it's officially called
nowhere.
the Southern Tier. Yes, indeed. It's called the Southern Tier, which is basically the area below the Finger Lakes, right above Pennsylvania, not Western, not towards the city. There's just a chunk of the state right there. And yes, that is where I was born and for the most part raised.
And then you went to Seattle college, right?
High school? Third, fourth, and fifth grade, and then back for college. Tacoma for college, but yeah. Which is how I know about Frisco Freeze.
All right.
Which, honestly, I could go for a little Frisco Freeze right now. A little greasy hamburger action from a diner would be freaking awesome.
I still got to take you to that Thai place next time you come out.
Oh, dude, there's so many.
Because I know you're a sucker for Thai street food.
Just for the viewers at home, Brett and I's list of future restaurants to visit, nation and worldwide, is I don't care how long we live, we will never check it all off. We have so many places we want to go eat that are amazing, and we will We could live to be 100 and a quarter, and we'd still not get them all.
All right, let's see what Kenny's got for us.
So somebody says, like by Watkins Glen. Fun fact: we played Watkins Glen in high school. They weren't rivals or anything, but we did. I played Watkins Glen in at least 3 sports. Plus, Trans Am races at the Glen was racing that I was raised on, which is why I love the Chargers Navy Blues, is because that is pretty much the exact color scheme of the Penske Sunoco Camaro from the Trans Am series.
One of these days on stream, if we ever get just a completely shit game, where we got a vamp for like an entire second half, you're going to tell the story about driving backwards through the woods.
We need to have a different podcast for that, and I will tell it. I'd be happy to. So I love that everybody's guessing. Everybody's guessing now. So like Elmira, close. Spent a lot of time. You need a garbage plate, DJ. I am fully familiar with the garbage plate. I introduced Brett to a garbage plate. I have relatives in Rochester. I understand the garbage plate like intimately, and I do mean
it doesn't sound appetizing to me.
Oh, it's so good. My God. All right, beautiful racetrack. Yes, appetizing. Watkins Glen is, in my opinion, and I am completely biased, one of the most beautiful older road courses in the entire country. You can have your Road America and Road Atlanta, and sure, Laguna Seca, sure, beautiful course. Watkins Glen, blue fences all the way. Went to NASCAR at the Glen. Yeah, Bud. We used to call that Bud at the Glen because they were the primary sponsor at that point. NASCAR's fun there, but I like the Trans Am cars there better. Deep lore stream when? Well, if you're a patron, within the next couple of weeks, we are going to get back to the patron only streams. So if you are a patron, look for those in your email. Ithaca is gorgeous. Yes, Cal, Ithaca is indeed gorgeous. That's the slogan because they spell it Gorge because Ithaca has many natural like limestone gorges. So it's Ithaca is gorges, not gorgeous. Anyways, yes, it is right near Ithaca, only about 18 miles away from Ithaca.
Speaking of Laguna Seca, I told you so my dad grew up in Salinas, which is over near Monterey for people who don't know where Salinas is. And so I used to go up to Salinas a lot when I was growing up because that's where my grandparents were. And my dad and his buddies used to sneak on to Laguna Seca in the middle of the night and race in pitch black with like the fucking Opals, like Cudas and stuff. And they're going down. Just like it was completely dangerous. Like not like it was not smart at all to do because Laguna Seca is a hard track even when there's daylight, let alone when there's no light.
Because your dad's like,
but they had a lot of fun.
How old's your dad? Ballpark.
Born in 57, so
okay, 60, so yeah, like late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, late 60s, early 70s was a fun time. Like seatbelts were optional. Riding in the back of a truck.
That's why his favorite. His favorite movie is one of his favorite movies. Especially when I showed him that we literally ate at the restaurant that was featured in the movie, Dazed and Confused, when we were in Austin. That's one of his favorite movies because he's like, wow, you have no idea how accurate that movie is.
Yeah. So anyways, fun fact, when I was back in Texas right before the Patriots Dallas game, we just went to, there we go.
Oh,
nice.
All right. Well, I think we just hit our Deontay.
We should have. If we haven't, we should have. All right. This is what I love about this. Oh, man. Kenny just smokes that in there. Oh, he stepped out there. It's only like 3 yards less. So what Brett's talking about is the pool hall from Dazed and Confused. If you've seen the film, is actually a restaurant, and it is this is my favorite thing, the second best place for brisket in Austin, which is what I asked my buddy Frank to take us to because I was like, I don't want to go stand in line.
It's so good.
I don't want the number one. Like, give me the second best place. Give me the Loke place in Austin that serves brisket. And he takes us and he's like, by the way, this place was the pool hall in Dazed and Confused. They used it as a set. And great family place. Tremendous brisket. I went there when I went back for Kansas, Texas this year. We were talking about where to go, and he's like, I already took you there. And I was like, dude, I don't care. It was amazing. He's like, all right, let's go there. So we went back and we had dinner there on Friday night. It was great. Again, the Brussels sprouts, still amazing.
Dude.
I know your Brussels sprouts are good, but they're really good.
Hold on.
Yep.
Pickens might have just gone under a half.
Under? Can they cut it off,
on.
though? Really?
Fuck, he's at... Oh, my God. He's at -1. Oh, my God. I am going to kill Matt Canada. FBI, please don't hold that against me. I don't mean it, but oh, my God.
This is my displeased face. And then they threw it freaking... No. Okay. This is my displeased face.
Dude.
They have 13 minutes to make this right to us.
I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. Like this would be the one game.
Twin, I'm sorry, but I'm laughing my ass off.
It's 12th.
Twin, I hold nothing against you. Nothing at all. It is worth laughing about because the other thing is murder. And murder is just a nasty business. So please laugh about it because there are two options here. It's like laugh like a crazy fool or murder. Like there's no in between. How can you have
he's doing this out of spite
on your team? No. How can you have a George Pickens on your team and throw him like 2 balls, one for 2 yards and one for -4? Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, they did throw the slot fade, but like but it's three targets? I just I'm
Dylan Monk.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Here's the Lord. It might be.
I'm trying not to get canceled for what I'm about to say about this man.
Make it legal.
It's so expected. It's so expected. Like it's so arrogant.
Yeah.
It's just fucking arrogant.
Say that when we were celebrating that he'd gotten his yard after 20 whatever minutes, I had a small tinge. Because it wasn't a lot of yards. It wasn't like a 20-yard catch. I'm like, no,
it was
we can't
3.
lose all of that. It was 3. And I was like, oh, I even made a joke about it. I was like, negative, like, they'll still give it to us, right? Now I'm like, that's not funny.
Just you have a potentially dominant X receiver.
Oh, Hawkeys, we've pushed that limit a good many times.
But here, I just nothing I say will matter because they're not going to fire him. They're just going to let his contract run out because his contract runs out after this season. But like, they're never going to actually hold anybody accountable.
No, I'm sorry.
There's no accountability in this organization.
Jesus Law says, I bet the under on Pickens too is a joke. We're going to call that the Coleman line, and it's the opposite of everything he puts on the slip. And I bet that the Coleman line performs very similarly to like recommendations Oprah made for the stock market. The Coleman line is going to be the anti.
By the way, I think
puts on the Pick'em roster, and I bet you'll be successful if you bet it, because what are we doing here?
I think to give people an idea of how we have to jerry rig this whole stream together. EJ, I think your Google Meet might be quite behind if you want to refresh it.
How does one refresh a Google Meet considering I started it?
I don't know, but your voice is about 3 seconds behind your video. So
good times. Okay, I'll see what I can do about that.
I have no idea how, but
because Matt Canada. Blame Canada.
Until then. Oh God, another great ball from Levis.
Okay.
Did you see the second? There's a secondary camera that just went on. I have no idea how that happened.
Oh, you became...
I didn't even do that. It just did it.
No, you became primary 1 and primary 2. How's my voice in my video?
Speak again.
How am I doing now?
Oh, you're still behind. It's fine. You're still behind, but it's whatever.
I got nothing. I left and came back. So
I don't know. I got no solutions.
You know
it's just internet.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna blame OBS.
What? It's not OBS. That much I know for sure because I also see it on that one too. So it's both.
Lovely.
I know you love blaming OBS for everything.
Yes, I do.
All right. Nice little run from Derrick Henry to at least get close to converting a first down. Titans are going to do everything in their power to chew clock for the rest of this game. Because at this point, I think they're just going into clock killing mode. Andy Sharp for $5. How much money do y'all want from me to have Brett Cam 2?
Yeah, and
you mean this very unflattering upward angle from a fucking webcam so that EJ can see what I'm saying?
Oh. And Nick says EJ is so drunk that his voice is time traveling. Yeah, 1.5 ounces of bourbon, that'll do it to you.
OBS overblamed software. Yes, yes, it is. Voice is in sync on the stream? That's weird. Because it's not in sync on actual OBS, and it's not in sync on my... But it's not in sync on my laptop. I don't know. Weird shit's happening tonight, guys. Anyway.
Yeah, like Matt
second
Canada
and 10 for the Titans.
For like a quarter, which was... That should have been our cue that nothing was going to go right.
All I'm saying is I'm just happy I was wearing pants tonight, honestly. If I had known that, fucking Secret Camera 2 was going to pop up. Could have just been hanging brain on stream. That would have been bad for the channel.
We probably would have got demonetized for that.
Yeah, a little bit. It's not in sync on my stream. I don't know. I feel like everybody's just doing their own thing tonight.
You know what I think is like Prime Vision is getting us back at this point. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, man. Nice little almost catch from Tyjae Spears.
Before he got absolutely raked.
Have you ever not worn pants on a stream? I have done one TNF stream in boxers because my pants were in the laundry. And you'll never know which one. You'll never know.
Oh my God. Could have been good for the channel.
So
that's a different service. That's called OnlyFans. We haven't there's nothing I can say that's good about that.
Nice point.
There's your Stonehouse moment right there.
Yep. Bootleg favorite, Ryan Stonehouse. The man, the leg, the legend.
And yes, Cody, he only owns one pair of pants.
It just, again, because I'm me, I tend to let laundry build up to the point where I run out of clothes without realizing it. And there's some days where it's like, hey, I have a jacket I can wear for the stream. I don't have anything else. So filming from here up, EJ. Filming from here up.
This is
I've
this
done
is
many a film room
solidly
episode in boxers.
this is
You never
solidly in
know.
the not helping category.
Just saying. It's show business, baby. Nobody's ever wearing pants.
Oh, short round with a missed super chat. EJ talking about Washington schools reminded me the Bellevue Wolverines were an absolute dynasty before the shit hit the fan. There are a lot of really powerful Washington high school teams. I know we've been talking about Pennsylvania and Texas and other states, but there are a good number of college players that you would all know, especially offensive linemen who have come out of Washington State. Of course, there were the Hewards that played quarterback at Washington, and Damon went on to have a long and successful career in the NFL. His brother Brock played for a little bit, still does sports radio around here. Washington high school football, no joke. A lot of guys. Emeka Ibuka, who is a wide receiver at OSU this year, probably going to get drafted in the first round. He is a Washington State high school kid.
Which school did he go to, by the way, Ibuka?
Stelcom.
Oh, gotcha. There was a kid who just went in the NFL from there a couple years ago, or last year, I think, right?
From Washington or from Stilcom? I don't think from Stilcom.
Cade Otton, right?
Oh, Cade went to Tumwater, which is in Olympia, which strangely enough is where my college roommate was the quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Washington. High school football hotbed. And you never know it.
You never know.
It's where Boise State gets like half their guys.
Yeah. The current quarterback at UCLA was, I believe, the #1 overall quarterback in the U.S., like Gatorade High School All-American.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Ethan
more...
stole him after he left, I believe, Washington.
So nice little run from Najee.
Slutty JPEG, were you wearing Manscaped boxers? Excellent question. We both have them.
Of course, because they're such high quality, and they keep me tight and protected, and they're very ventilated. Use promo code bootleg and get whatever the offer is, 20% off or something like that.
Yeah. None of this is helping.
Look at that, EJ.
And everybody's like,
what an ad integration.
Now we know why Brett has to do ad reads like 25 times in a row, which, if you haven't heard it up close and personal, is disturbing stuff to send you off to sleep after a 14-hour workday. Yeah.
My recording process is not a clean or efficient one. It is not a one take and go type situation.
Oh.
All right. There's Boykin, because Canada is going to do everything in his power to make sure that Pickens finish with negative yardage. Oh, man.
If we finish this game with George Pickens with negative yards, I will.
That's like all time curse.
Yeah, no, that is the baddest of beats.
And it's so predictable too. Like, it's so predictable that Canada would do that to us.
Well, we'll always have these
Warren
middle.
is doing well.
We'll always have these middle runs to look back on.
Hold on. Let me try refreshing on my end. Maybe that's the key.
Dude, you know it's going to black out and you're going to be gone forever.
All right. So, but I'm curious to see if this still pops up. Oh no. Wait.
He's
Does that
back.
work? Oh my God! What? Okay, hold on. Why am I all? What in the world? Why am I black and white? What in the fuck? Look like a Frank Miller movie out here. Hold on. There we go. Fixed it. What the fuck was that? OBS.
Connor, fine. Here's money. Now take off your pants.
See, that stream is going to be for patrons only.
He didn't. Okay. I'm not going to react like that. It's not my team.
I know, EJ. I know. You're just frustrated.
I am frustrated. It's true.
Nick says, Kenny, can we have George Pickens? Pick it. I'll throw to Boykin instead. That's good.
Matt Canada's in his ear like, don't you give that Coleman any satisfaction.
No, he saw the video, and I guarantee you Matt's like, oh, I'll get this prick.
That's right.
I'm going to get him back for this.
I will run the ball. I will run the ball up the middle 25 times. I will not throw to George Pickens once.
I think I might have got us in sync. Maybe.
I hope so. That would be fantastic.
Oh no. Never mind. It's still delayed. I have no answers.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
Because if it's not your internet, and it's not my internet, and it's not OBS.
Oh, I think it's OBS. Oh.
Fuck it. Deontay down there somewhere. Let's go.
Like, at least they proved they can throw deep. Now we just need him to do it to the other guy.
Fourth quarter, Kenny Pickett's here, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
It was to the wrong receiver, but, we'll take it. We'll take it.
We got to give Pickett his flowers for
That's a
that
good ball.
throw. That is a dime.
Telling you, if you just skip to the fourth quarter of every Steelers game, like that's the only quarter worth watching. Oh, Jalen Warren, a man after my own heart. What a run. Oh my God. I think he got it. What a run.
Oh, yeah. He shouldn't be the starter, though, because that'd be dangerous. Oh, no. He's out at the 1 or the half.
Oh, he's like a foot off. That's tough. But, man, what a run. Now Najee's going to come in and snake it from him. And we're going to get a 2-touchdown Najee game while Jalen does all the work. He did on the first drive, too. Jalen had like 2 explosive plays on the first drive, and Najee got the touchdown.
And a no-reception George Pickens game to go with it. Like, come on, are you serious?
Oh, he's got catches. They just went backwards, EJ.
Stop.
Just to add insult to injury.
Okay, if they get the touchdown here on a half-yard throw to Pickens and he doesn't clear because he's in the negative.
Dude. No, that would put him at 0. If he got a shield screen for a touchdown right now, he had 0 yards.
Clear. If George Pickens gets a touchdown with 0 yards and doesn't clear because of that, I don't know what.
That would be my 13th reason, chat. That would 100% be my 13th reason. I'm Oh, we
they
got
lost
Wildcat?
yards. They lost yards.
Hold on, flag.
I saw that. This is the most ridiculous thing ever.
Okay, well, we have space for a Pickens. We have space for a Pickens
Right.
fade.
We have
so we might
actual yards. We
the
could
fact
give to
that
George
there's
Pickens.
so much tension around half a fucking yard. Like I
I think this is what Tree
Oh,
must
my
feel
God.
like every Sunday.
dude. How is that man still alive at this point? Kenny, look to your left. God damn it, he looked to his right. I'm begging you, Kenny. I'm begging you.
Begging you. Please, Kenny.
We just need a yard. No, we need 2
got another
yards.
flag. We got a flag.
This is the dumbest timeline.
This is the stupidest. Oh, but it's against Tennessee. Less yards. Oh, no. Oh.
Everything's lining up for just a bunch of runs in a row, and then the Steelers never getting back on the field. Yeah, it's a hold. Also, Deontay should have caught that. That should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, you think that's a hold? Really?
And Andy Sharp, they gained yards back. Oh no. It's
The
still
penalty
3.
gods-
It's still 3. So if 3 yards
He's
would
not
give
even
us
looking at him.
the green. Fuck.
I swear that George Pickens pissed on Kenny Pickett's lawn.
I mean,
He doesn't even look at him.
I mean, it's. I know he didn't have to. He still got the touchdown. I don't even think it's a Pickens. I don't even think it's a Pickett problem. I just think Canada really, really hates me. Like that's the only explanation. Like this is a deliberate sabotage job from Matt Canada as revenge on me.
Connor for $5. Thank you very much, Connor. And thanks to everybody for hanging with us through whatever this is. I'm a simple man, and if I'm paying for Patreon, that stream is what it takes. I'll do it. Also, I hope you lose the Pickens bet for what you did to Gonzo. Oh, no.
Hey, EJ was there too. He also cursed Gonzo with his presence. All right, that was a shared curse.
Oh.
And also, by the way, EJ, I don't know if you remember this. The play before Judon got injured, EJ was like, I feel like something's going to happen with Judon here. And then he got hurt. So EJ fucked up Judon just as much as he messed up Gonzo.
You're reminding me of that ad where they're at airport security and the guy says, "You too," and everybody stops. And he's like, "She has hairspray that's over the limit." So,
oh man, this is every Steelers game. Just be down.
Yeah.
Only show up in the fourth quarter.
I am happy for Steelers fans in their building. They get a touchdown, a fourth quarter lead. They have a very good defense. This is happy for the yellow and black. For those of us that expect a good player to get one freaking yard in a game, nope, not even getting looks.
This is just, I mean, I really don't have words. It's the most predictable, but also most ridiculous thing. Like out of all like the lore of this channel and of this brand, this might take the cake. Like I thought, oh, doing a video on Juwan Taylor, and all of a sudden he starts getting flagged like crazy. Like that was up there. Doing a video on the tush push, and then they fumble on the goal line. That was up there. Like this is the new bar.
and you can't even
Oh,
say low bar because the other bars are pretty low. Ugh.
here the bar is so low, it's fucking negative, literally. Unbelievable. I mean,
Okay,
believable, but
so
unbelievable. You know?
theor- theoretical question. They run out of defensive
Hmm.
backs and they put George Pickens in and he gets an interception. Do the return yards count?
Has to be receiving. Has to be
He
receiving.
he caught it.
Oh,
Ah,
I'm gonna DM Rudman. I'm like, can you throw me a fucking bone here?
he had him. He just lost him. He left him in his other pants. Come on. How are we back to pants
Stop the
again?
count.
How are we back to pants again? Yeah, I mean he should have toe
It's the
tapped that
lowest
TD. You
possible
are
bar.
correct. Yes, he should have toe tapped the TD. You
But
are
still, I mean,
100%
come on
correct.
now.
The
How many
curse
games has
is
it been
the
since
real
Deontay
goat.
scored? I think it's been a while, right?
Well, he was out for a couple,
Let
and
me
then he
look
came
up.
back. He didn't have a touchdown, so yeah, you're correct.
I'm gonna look at his game log because I feel like even going back to last year when he was healthy, it's still been a while since he's got a touchdown.
Okay, they put it in the field of
This
play.
is obviously his
Maybe a
first of the
fumble.
year.
Oh.
Great return. Get to get it almost to midfield. Wait, so he didn't have a touchdown all of last year in 17 games. Holy shit.
That's Julio territory.
His last touchdown was January 3rd of 2022, which was the 2021 season. What?
That would
How?
be an unbelievable stat if you threw that up because he is clearly their best receiver. All
Well,
right,
that's through all things,
we
Matt
have
Canada are possible. Or
can we have
through Matt
Pickens
Canada, all things
switch
are possible. You
jerseys?
know what I mean?
Yeah. Can we put Pickens on the Titans and have Levis throw to him because we'd have this in like 0.2 seconds.
Man, how do you get like 120 catches and no touchdowns? That's like an unbelievable stat. That's like the 2013
That's Julio. That's Julio.
Kansas City Chiefs were like that's worse than Julio.
Arguably.
Anyway, Will Levis, other side of the field, 2nd and 5.
Oh, good stick.
So it's bringing up a 3rd and medium. Historically, Steelers are going to be in just straight up one rat on 3rd and medium. So I would say mesh is going to be a decent call here. If you want the fade to Hopkins, that's a decent call here if you put him inside against Patrick Peterson. Let's see what we got. All right. Ooh, we got 4 strong with a nub with Wesco. 4 strong to the field. And they ran it on 3rd and 4. I mean, I guess if you're in 4 down territory, I guess.
I am not thrilled by this development. Like, you don't have numbers. Why do you do that?
He missed the read. Nah, he missed the read. So front side A gap was about to pop open. He pushed it too far front side. He had to do the same read that Henry did earlier, where you bend it back and then go front siding it, but that crease was about to open. He hit it too quickly. So that's on Spears. He's going to learn from that. But now you're in 4th and 4 when it definitely should have been a first down if you just read it right.
Oh, they're going.
Oh, Will. Oh,
and he's injured again.
And he's hurt.
Yep.
Fuck.
That's
Uh-oh.
honestly going to be a
He
bigger
he looks
development.
he looks hurt too.
Yeah.
This isn't good.
No. No.
Did he hit his
He
head?
got,
Is that what it was?
yeah, he did. He got donked.
Yeah, he did hit it slammed. His back of his head slammed in the ground. That's a bad one. Man, that's really unfortunate.
Okay, this went from
I,
being
I want
like
the best
super
for
fun.
Treylon.
Yeah, this went from being super fun to not being super fun.
Yeah. God, I want him to be healthy just once, you know? Because he's so talented.
Really good player,
It's
tremendous
unfortunate.
physical skill, and has not early in his career been able to shake the injury bug. We have seen other receivers who have had that tendency earlier in their career and then sort of got healthy later on. I hope that's the case for him because Titans are clearly better with him on the field and what he brings because they don't really have anybody else that can do it like he can. Yes, you can spend a draft pick next year and go get one, but it'd be better if you had two at that point. And he's not been able to hang it up so far.
What we have learned tonight is that, again, assuming this game is over now, right? I mean, still got to get to the other side of the 2-minute warning, but I'm assuming this game's wrapped up. What we have learned tonight is Jalen Warren's really good. We have learned that Kenny Pickett, while inconsistent, is still capable of big time throws, but pretty much only in the fourth quarter. We've learned that Matt Canada hates me and is willing to completely disregard George Pickens just to get back at me. We learned that Deontay Johnson is fully back, looks just fine. What else have we learned? We've learned that Will Levis is coming along just nicely, has incredible arm talent. Derrick Henry's still good. Tajay is extremely explosive, but he's going to want a couple of these runs back in terms of how he read it.
Yep. Kyle
Did I miss
Phillips is
anything?
a worthwhile receiver 3.
100%. Chig didn't get as involved tonight as I hoped.
Oh
I mean, they
man,
tried a couple.
him off.
They got the backboard out.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not cool.
This is so much worse than I thought.
Well, I hope they're just being overcautious and making sure that everything's lined up if he has to go for observation. All that. This is not great.
So
It's I don't know.
you kind of see
Something going on there.
It's tough to tell if there's a fencing response. I can't quite tell if that was a fencing response, but from what I can tell, it definitely looks like the hit to the head on the ground is what did it. Chad, if you guys have any context from the game audio that we can't hear, obviously because we don't have the game audio on, please let us know. If there's any sort of update from a sideline reporter about movement and extremities, would love to hear that.
Yeah, that would be really good. Treylon's a exciting young player with a lot of talent. Again, has struggled with injuries, but it just got back in the lineup. And again, with the addition of Levis, this is exactly the kind of talent they need to take advantage of Levis's arm. And, first thoughts are with Treylon. Hope he's healthy. Hope it's nothing serious and that it's observation, just being safe and cautious. But we'll see.
Um, when we get back from commercial, hoping that we get some sort of update or some sort of thumbs up, because it's the movement of the extremity is obviously what we're hoping to hear about. Also, EJ, if you're wondering why you can't see me anymore, it's because my laptop died, which I know is probably a question that was going through your head.
At this point, at this point, it's all expected, all of it.
For those who wonder how we do this stream through OBS in terms of how we get two people on here at the same time, it's because on my laptop I have my webcam going so that EJ can see me, because he can't see me through this, because OBS has to use my camera, so Google Meets can't use my camera, hence the two camera setup specifically so EJ can see me. And then I feed in the Google Meets into OBS, which is how you see EJ, and of course you see me as well. So it's this whole convoluted system, and then EJ isn't even coming through his own audio channel. He's coming through the desktop audio, which is why we can't have the game on desktop audio beyond the whole like we'll get sued thing.
Yeah,
all right, Traylon's getting carted off right now.
Yeah.
Again, chat, if they give you any sort of context on the broadcast audio, let us know.
I comment for the algorithm. First time tuning into the Thursday night stream. You picked one. I can't say much besides that. Pretty legit. We appreciate that. We hope we bring you insight to all these games, regardless of whether or not they're great games in terms of the end result on the field, but maybe a little bit of backstory about some of the players and some of the sort of strategic matchups that are going on. They're not usually laced with quite this many technical
we got the
problems.
thumbs up.
Okay, we like the thumbs up.
And apparently he had movement in his toes, so that's good too.
Yeah.
So that's as good a news as we can hope for, and hopefully Traylon comes back quick from whatever it happens to be. In the meantime, Steelers trying to close this one out. Yeah. Did lose Titans yardage on 1st and 10.
Yeah, Titans with 3 timeouts.
I'd be willing to bet this next one is either going to be a very, very easy completion like a screen or another run, because they're going to focus more on clock killing than potentially risking an incompletion with something further down the field. So it's one of the few times that I'm okay with Matt Canada dialing up a screen on 2nd and forever, because again, important thing is work the clock. The one reason they might try to just get down the field and go for a first down is timeouts, because Tennessee still does have 3 timeouts. But if they run it and they can get like a 5 or a 6 yard gain and force Tennessee to burn a timeout, like that's kind of best of both worlds, right? Because you're setting up a manageable 3rd down and you're burning one of their most valuable resources right now. So if I was them, in terms of what call I would want, let's see, what's something that they're really good at? Probably like outside zone lead. Roll off 4 or 5 yards with that, which I know I hate 2nd and 13 runs, but in this situation, might be worth it.
Chat reminds us that the Steelers are still under 400 yards of total offense. Of course they are.
Oh, that one's a lock. That one's a lock for sure. Ooh, they might be trying to throw it here. I don't know.
He's not. They've got a block in.
Oh no, it's a jet sweep. Okay, if you're going to call a run on 2nd and 13, jet sweep is not the one you call. Like that play call, like again, the idea of a run situationally there, I'm not opposed to. That particular run, I'm opposed to.
Yeah.
That's not a good call. Full movement, all extremities. Thank you, Austin. That's awesome. That's really, really good news.
Yeah.
Well, I
Thanks,
hope he gets
chat, for
checked
letting
out
us know
at the
that.
hospital there.
Yeah,
Hospital's really close to the stadium, if I recall correctly, too. So
it
he'll,
is.
he'll
And
get there in a hurry.
Pittsburgh is one of the best medical towns in the entire country. Medical universities there.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get the best facilities for sure. Nah, Steelers are going to run this.
Another run from Jalen Warren.
Yeah, they're going to run this to the bloody end. They are not going to put that ball in the air. Tomlin will not do it.
So Tennessee, so they're punting it from midfield. Ideally, you can drop it inside the 10. You're giving Will Levis a minute 40 with one timeout. Like, that's enough time for Will Levis to get all the way down there. Like, this is a true test for him. Like, this is not a put in an impossible situation with like 40 seconds and no timeouts. Like, there's time here.
If he drops the dagger, this is the absolute beginning of the Will Levis legend.
Especially on the road in primetime. Like, this is the test. Like, this is the test. Either you got it or you don't.
This is how things get started. And he started it last week, but you need to stack those performances. If he manages to pull this off somehow, look out.
Especially when you got TJ Watt bearing down on you.
Yeah.
All right.
Case in point, Steelers do not want that, and their pass rush is formidable. They're not going to hand this over easily.
Cover 2 look pre-snap.
Oh,
God. All right. A little too much dip on the chip there.
Yeah.
That's a little too early for that, Will. Come on now.
Give Hopkins CB money in his next contract.
I understand the desire for a whole shot, but like they were not going to give you that one, dude. They were sinking all the way. There was no conflict in the flat. Like, they're not going to give you that. Another cover 2 look pre-snap. Oh, really nice stick to Phillips. Move the chains. Gotta go.
Levis, so cool making that throw.
Yeah, at that point, you just got to get first downs, right?
Oh.
You took your... Oh, that's devastating. All right, you got to get up. Get everybody reset. Yeah. Love the awareness. Hand the ball to the ref. Get it spotted. Oh, they called...
That's a Highsmith, right?
Oh, they used their timeout. I didn't think they were going to use their timeout that early. Interesting. Wow. Okay. I mean, if they felt like they weren't going to get on the ball quick, I could see it. But it looked like Levis was getting them up there pretty fast.
Maybe a thing where they're not trying to put too much on Levis's plate, and they're like, no, let us give him a break. Let us settle him down.
Or maybe they wanted to get a certain call in there that they weren't going to have time with everybody rushing. Maybe. Either way. All right, a little bit of a dirty bunch to the field. They got 2 on Hopkins. They're not going to give you Hopkins here. Chig, get up. There he goes. All right. You got to go. Got to go. All right. Is he calling? Is that their signal for a tier concept with the Shanahan language? Ooh, I think that one skipped off the turf.
Yeah, he underthrew that one a little bit. We've seen Pickett do that a couple of times tonight. That's one of the first ones for Levis where he wants a little more arm on that throw. It does stop the clock. Got to get some yardage here. 4th and 7.
All right. That's for all the marbles. And timeout. Tomlin didn't like their look, whatever they were in.
EJ, you should try
You
some
know what I'm
Malort
feeling
next
here?
Thursday. Not Malort.
Would you have the balls to call zero here and force the throw underneath and trust your guys to rally and tackle?
No. Oh man, no, not after what happened to Wilkes.
Unleash your inner Brian Flores? They're showing pressure. All right, they brought
Yeah,
5.
they did. They did.
Oh,
So
they threw the
close.
flag. Oh, I was
On
wondering if they were going
Porter,
to throw it because he
finally.
hooked him. Oh,
Man.
devastating.
They're letting him play all night, and then they throw the flag right now. Slutty JPEG for 199.
I mean,
Slutty JPEG.
I was watching him. Go for it, EJ.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Anyways, he said you should try some Malort next Thursday. I've had Malort. It's terrible. I don't need any more. I remember. It's awful. No, thank you.
Oh, on second look, that's kind of a tough call because Hopkins fully extended. That's a tough
They've
call.
been doing this all night, and they didn't call it. And to call it in that situation after not calling it all night is, I think, unfair.
I mean, you can't allow Hopkins to extend and then not let Joey fight back, right? Like that's a little unfair. So
and they've been letting those
that's not
two
a
guys
good call to me. On second, I mean,
they've been letting them battle
Yeah.
it out, and then to throw a flag in a critical situation, high leverage situation at the end of the game, it's like if you're going to let them beat the hell out of each other all game, just let them keep beating the hell out of each other.
all right. Levis has been trying to hit those hole shots to no avail. Got to work the middle of the field because I don't think they're going to give you the sideline. Oh, got it. Now you guys got to run. You got to run.
Yeah.
Get the spike. Get the spike.
Come on, clock, 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 clock. There
Move
it is.
your asses. All right. Honestly, I understand first throw could have been a game-ending pick. Still an impressive try by Levis, all things considered.
He's still making the correct read, and there isn't a larger pressure situation on the road than this. He has progressed.
All right. Single high look. They're going to give you whatever you want underneath. Get to the sideline, Chig. There you go. Checking in on that. Did we just hit Chig for... Oh, my God. Look at how freaking close this is. So I needed over 30 and a half attempts for Kenny. He's at 30. I need 25 and a half for Chig. He's at 22. And I need half a yard for George. And he's at -1. What the fuck? That's insane.
All-time bad beat.
Dude, this is horrific.
Oh!
Oh!
Dude!
Ooh. All right.
Absolute
Again,
rip
a couple
from Levis.
Yeah, he's pressing for sure.
So he threw that hard enough that Rush
I don't
didn't
even
catch
think he
it.
saw Rush.
No, he didn't, but he threw it hard enough that Rush couldn't clamp it.
All right. 2nd and 10. Again, they're going to park them their DBs at the sticks. All right, that's going to hit us for Chig. The question is Underdog going to grant us the higher than half a yard anyway? So that we get 4 out of 5.
I think we're asking for clemency.
This is brutal. This is absolutely brutal.
11 seconds. Let's go, Levis. Make some magic. You got a shot at this. Whoa!
He's, you know, he was pressing. He threw a lot of dangerous balls on that last drive. He was trying.
I'll give him his credit. He threw
he had 5 DBs parked in the end zone. It was going to be tough to find a window in that, but God, there's a couple of those he's gonna want back. What I want to look and see what was the other seam looking like. So Nick Westbrook-Akine, I think, was in the other seam. I want to see if there was a window there.
He had to layer it.
Not really.
Yeah, he would have had to layer it.
There was nothing there. And even then, I'm not confident it wouldn't have got picked off the other way either. Like I don't think there was a throw there.
It was really thin. I think the biggest thing to take away is Levis got his team down the field in position to throw a touchdown with 11 seconds left. Yeah, he didn't make it happen this time, but that in your second start on the road versus the Steelers is wildly impressive.
I still came out of this game thinking that the Titans have a quarterback. Like nothing about this game has maybe changed my mind.
And honestly, a really good Thursday night game. We've had some dogs, certainly in the past. This was not one of them. This was entertaining literally to the last throw.
Oh, and the all-time Coleman Curse bad beat was tonight. George Pickens finished with -1 passing yard or receiving yard. The one time that we have a special going for half a yard. So, EJ, it is literally all downhill from here.
It is something, but big thanks out to Underdog for setting us up with a special in the first place. Huge thanks to everybody that came out for a game that, in preseason did not look like it was going to be exciting. We appreciate you riding along with us. Don't forget the good news that our gear is going to be on Homage really soon. If you're a patron, look for your poll to vote in tomorrow to pick the styles that end up going on the Homage website. And we'll see you all tomorrow for the podcast, and then again on Monday for the recap pod.
In the meantime, I'm going to go talk to our buddies Zach Powell and Andrew Mackins and Nick Rudman, all of them at Underdog, and figure out what next week's TNF special is going to be so that I know exactly who not to start on my own fantasy teams, because clearly the curse is that powerful. So, and I'll make sure to let you guys know ahead of time who you should be trading away, because whoever our special is apparently untouchable now. So, anyway. We thank all of you for watching and listening and sticking with us this long. And almost 4 hours into the stream, we had 800 people here for the majority of the time, and we appreciate each and every one of you. We could not do this without you guys. And yeah, with that, I'm gonna go pour myself something stiff, EJ. I think I've earned it.
I think we have. We'll see you soon.
It's not gonna be that.
Thanks for riding along.